That's like an aspirin for my daughter. Big time in the club with a case of Ace, and I sniff that whole table. Scarface, another court case. I'm a frequent offender. When Wyclef was hot, I was gone to November. 6 years, hard time. Bobby was fucking up. Whitney could have been mine. We would have been so high and so in love. When Amy Winehouse died, I could have saved her. Could have smoked like half of that. She wouldn't have had to go in cardiac arrest. Hands up under her dress. Lindsay Lohan her mess, but I still cope above her breast. I must confess, I heard from a little birdie. Bring some crystal meth, you can get that from Fergie. Had a real nice dream, me and Charlie Sheen. Few Playboy bras, I was high in Rob Ford. Brick after brick, like Shaq at the free throw. I stayed hard, I put coke in my pee hole. You bout that life? I'm bout that life. You ain't really bout that life. If you really bout that life.
That's why we shine wherever we go. We shine wherever we go. We shine wherever we go. We shine wherever we go, Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy, so even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Great afternoon to you wonderful people. Welcome to this Tuesday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from the beautiful What's In It for the Black People Media Studios. Alongside Tucson, my name is Herb Howard. We get together right here with you all every single weekday, 3 to 6 p.m., and we discuss issues that are impacting the black community, how those issues impact us as individuals, and how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through many of these issues in hopes of finding the optimum solutions for how we can overcome said issues. Again, overcome them as individuals, but perhaps more importantly, overcome them as a collective. So thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. As always, your input is valued. It is certainly appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible while we go through the show. We do kindly request you take a quick second to share the broadcast by clicking on the little arrow in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Share the broadcast on your personal page. Share it even within your personal network. Anyone that you think would add value to or find value in this particular conversation, we welcome them to be a part of the discussion, because we think that the more like-minded people we can get to be a part of the conversation, the better the opportunities we have of finding the optimum solutions going forward. So please, please, please take a quick moment to share the broadcast. Also, if you feel so inclined, which Brother Derek Griffin has already felt so inclined to do, you can contribute to the show by clicking on the little gold stars in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. We certainly appreciate each and every one of those contributions to the show. We appreciate y'all, most importantly, for being here. Again, as I said what I said, it is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb. His name is Tou. Tou, what's happening, good brother?
What's up, family? How you? I'm blessed and highly favored.
You know what, Esco? I'm getting about sick of this, Esco. Okay, this I love Tou, I hate Herb stuff. Getting about tired of it.
She don't hate Herb. She just recognizes, who's Jordan, who's Pippen. That's all. We love you back, Esco.
I'll just take that. You know what I'm saying? I'll just take that. It's all good. Appreciate y'all so very, very much. You say you good, blessed and highly favored, or what?
Man, I'm good, man. I got a little headache, but I'm gonna make it happen, man. Been running around all day.
Yeah.
My kids had their first employment opportunity today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I dropped
Get
them
money.
off, and
What
I
you
had
say,
the expectation of
Get money.
Ubering them back to the crib, but I was on my way over here, and they was like, "We finished, Daddy. Come get me." So I was like, "Man, let me go grab them first."
Might as well.
And shot back over this way, So just running around with them, man.
That's what's
Regular
up.
life, brother. Regular life. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man. I had the opportunity to sit in on the collective conversation on the green side of things with Brother Sadiq today. Sister Cassie was out, and so I was holding it down for her. Had a good conversation, so that was cool to hang out with him. I didn't when I agreed to it yesterday. I didn't really think that the
doing
collective
double
conversation
duty.
come on like right before ours, and I was gonna go 6 hours straight talking.
It's almost like you playing for the Negro Leagues, huh?
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Both ways.
Maybe you are playing for the Negro Leagues.
Maybe I am. But no, it's all good. We had a really, really good conversation. It was cool to hang out with Brother Sadiq. So that was a cool conversation. And he talked about the fact that he has this 30-day vegan challenge coming up in January.
Yeah, all plant based.
And eating all plant-based food coming up in January. I think he said he waits until the second week to start it, second week of January into the second week of February, just to kind of give people that little bit of time coming off of New Year's or whatever. Because, people will party all New Year's Eve and then feel like they messed up their chance on the first day, and so they just drop out of it. So he's like, give them an extra week to settle into it. And so I'm thinking about jumping down and rolling with it.
I'm with it, man. Let's try it, G. You be partying on New Year's? You go out for New Year's?
No, I've never been a go outer on New Year's. I've always thrown parties on New Year's.
Yeah.
Like I've always, like, all my friends be expecting me to have parties on New Year's. I've had epic parties for New Year's for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting, man. You see the New Year's parties on TV across the globe. I've never had a good New Year's. It's always been huff as hell.
Oh, so you should have been in my joints. They be
Always
busting
huff
every
as
rip.
hell. I always be huffed. The best party holiday, at least in my experience, was always like Thanksgiving around that era.
Yeah.
Always crack.
Yeah, I agree with the public, like, as far as like public parties, like going out like after Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. It usually be cool stuff going on. But in terms of like throwing private parties, I was never trying to go out. Like, it'd be too much shooting, it'd be too much going on, it'd be way too expensive on New Year's Eve. I'm just not really rocking like that. So I just rather throw a party in my environment where I can control the guest list, I can control everything about it, and just make sure everybody has a good time. So I've always done that. Hire a DJ, get some food, have a bunch of liquor. People bring their bottle of choice. Get some adult entertainment for later on in the evening, and it's always been lit. Always been a
Adult
good time.
entertainment, the dancers.
Gotta have the dancers, man.
For New Year's, that's how it rock.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Always. When I tell people I'm having a party, that means that strippers are coming.
Oh, okay.
Like, if I say I'm just like, we just kicking it, we're gonna throw something together, then that means they aren't coming. But if I use the word party,
They coming.
they coming.
Yeah,
Later. Now, you can come to the party and have a good time, and then about midnight, 1 o'clock, you bounce. Because after 1,
It's going
it's
down.
going to a different place. And, you're welcome to stay, but
Yeah, I ain't mad at it, man.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at it. I ain't it's interesting, man. Some of my buddies used to have a strip club. Like, owned it. And I don't even want to say strip club because that probably would be the wrong name for it.
there's some hoes in this
It
house.
was just a spot where women got naked. It was wild, you know what I mean?
To call these women strippers would be
No, they were strippers for sure, but to say it was a club would be
Oh, okay.
that wouldn't give it just.
It was a
more
place
like
where women got naked.
brothel-ish. Yeah, it was different. You know what I mean? But it also deterred me from ever engaging in strippers. Right? It was like the most disgusting shit that you could ever imagine. Like, and if you in the know, you know too. I would get
Right.
the address, but they still do this stuff, so I would have put them on blast.
That little lockdown over there off? Never mind.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But the joint, G, we would be in there, and because it was like really my homies.
Right.
You know? Oh, I want to say some names so bad, but I'm talking about people who are on office now, right now. I'm talking about
Right.
for real.
Right.
But we would be in there, they drinking and just chilling or playing. We would it was a hangout
Just
too, because
being,
it was
right.
legitimately my homie spot.
Right.
Man, and it used to blow me because we'd be in there. And it's in the heart of the hood too, right? And you see white dudes walking in and out of there like 40 going north, G, all day long. And it was just so,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this is so disheartening.
Oh, yeah.
This is so
Oh,
disheartening.
yeah.
to me.
I was in there one night. I was there one night, and they got this stripper. When I tell you she is at least 39 weeks pregnant. Okay? She's at least about to have this baby by next week.
39 in 6 days.
Okay, she is pregnant, my G, and she is in there stripping, and this one dude in particular can't get enough of her. Like he's the only one. She's the only one he wants.
Hey man, you got
like
them
maybe that's
fetish
his
people,
baby
man.
in there, fam.
Got them fetish people. That might be their thing.
They was cashing her out because she
It's a
was
porn
she was,
category
she
for
was
that, man.
super pregnant.
Yeah, that's next level. You know what I mean?
Pregnant box.
But my thing was just the white dudes, because I just knew they wasn't like local. You know what I'm saying? They had to plan to get here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like on the floor. So you know you had the fake champagne room too.
Yeah.
So you would see all these white dudes come in, but they ain't on the floor.
Nah,
You're like, where they go?
Back there cashing out.
They cashing out.
Yeah.
And I was like, this
They
is
living out their fantasies.
oh,
back
this
there.
is hurting my feelings so bad.
Yeah, they living out their fantasies. They
Yeah.
can't wait to get to the office tomorrow and tell Brad.
Yeah, it was very, 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 very disheartening for me.
Yes.
And it just made me have a certain kind of disrespect for that energy. You know what I mean? Like, oh no.
Yeah, I feel that.
There are no barriers.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a salute. You know what I mean? If that's your thing, that's your
Not gonna
thing.
have it. No, I feel that piece wholeheartedly, man. But you know, it is what it is. Look, man, we came into the studio. We had some gifts today, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got some gift bags and stuff on the floor, and one of the gifts that was in the bag was this T-shirt.
Yep.
And it says
On us.
on us, right?
The onus is on us. Shout out to Paula Robinson.
Shout out to Paula Robinson
Yeah, for giving us
for
that.
appreciate the shirt.
That's
You like to say it?
Salute. It's a dope saying.
It's a dope saying.
It sounds and feels familiar.
We appreciate.
Because the onus is on us. That's real.
We appreciate the shirts and the cookies too. I'm gonna get into these cookies. You can believe that.
Yeah. But that's real, though. It's our responsibility to take, accountability in our lives. So,
We must.
The onus is on us. I agree with that 100%.
We must. That's part of the conversation that we were just
I
having.
had to do that 30-day fast to get in mine, though. You know what I mean? She got us the baby sizes. I thought she must have thought she would get in from women.
So we was having that conversation about what our response going to be when I was on the collective conversation. Like, how do we respond to certain things that happen in our community? And I think that the first thing we got to do is be honest about what's happening, right? Where we find ourselves in that. And I think too often we prefer that comfortable lie over that uncomfortable truth. So if we be honest with ourselves, that would be step one to addressing anything that we're looking at. Like, keep it a buck about what it is that we're dealing with. So there was one proposal that I'm with Brother Sadiq on in terms of, what if we had, higher skilled, higher level police officers where they made $250 a year, right?
I heard it. I tuned in the show,
Yeah.
right? The thing about honesty, right?
Thanks for the stars, Boosie.
The thing about honesty is that in order to address something honestly, you got to first have the information. You know what I mean? So think about, I know I'm anti, what they call it?
Everything.
Therapy. I'm anti Ron talking on the mic for sure. When he's
I'm
like,
anti that.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not anti whooping Ron's ass, though.
I am not anti that either.
I'm not anti that at all. You know what I'm saying? But I'm kind of, I got a certain kind of feeling about therapy, right? But what does therapy do, though? It exposes those traumas that you've been hiding or that you've buried under whatever this emotional shit is so that you may address them. You know what I mean? So if you don't have those traumas exposed, you can't possibly address them. You know what I mean? And that what those traumas represent is information.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So oftentimes we have these ideas, but we lack information. You know what I mean? So again, I hear everything we say about the police, but the only reason we talk about the police, the way that we talk about the police is because they're viable, they're touchable, we can see them. Right? We can't see legislation. We don't pay attention to legislation. We can't see our congressmen on a daily basis. We don't see senators on a daily basis. We don't talk to presidents on a daily basis. So those people become out of reach and they become out of touch. But those people are essentially the people who dictate how those officers move and respond in our communities.
Absolutely.
Right? So to me, I get the argument. Don't get it twisted.
You saying that's low hanging fruit.
But it's low hanging fruit. It's dealing with cancer where it's metastasized at. You know what I mean? They don't mean shit. To the power structure, them people is fuck them people. Right. But we look at them as if they are the imperials of the power structure, and they just aren't. Right. You know what I mean? So in regards to I heard you say hit him with some Jeff Fortyism. I'm with that. I'll beat your ass. And it'll really just be that, right? Gunfire to gunfire, man to man, whatever to be. Right. But me even going all the way to the wall with that, it doesn't change anything. Another
cop tomorrow.
It doesn't change anything. It's like stumping out an ant. It's 1,000 more where that came from. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So in order to fix this, you got to kill the ant hill. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. So, you know, I get it. I get it. But then it's like, it just seems to be, it's like running in place to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's running in place. And even from the perspective, I also heard, you know, you was talking about the capital, or Sadiq was talking about the capital that they make. You know, maybe we give them this like higher wage so they move a different way.
Right.
And let me tell you something. The realest revolution, or the first revolution, is the revolution of the mind. Right?
That's real.
And this world, and I mean it in that capacity, this world is going to be this world, no matter what. Right?
Yeah.
You're going to have people that's going to be empowered. There's going to be pandemics. There's going to be, you know, births. There's going to be deaths. All this shit is happening consecutively no matter what.
Right.
Right? We're dealing with a pandemic here now, but what you think all that goddamn starvation in Africa ain't a pandemic? You know what I'm saying? You don't think Ebola struck certain countries in Africa in a certain kind of way? It might not have happened here, but it happens continually. Right? And at the end of the day, man, the world going to be the world, you know, but how you deal with it has to be, it has to be rooted in your own understanding of humanity. And I say that because, you know, we kind of single police out. But the mailman ain't no different. The lady who works at Pfizer ain't no different. The vast majority of, because we're so ingratiated in this capitalist system, we all choose career over community. You know what I mean? But that is the goddamn sickness. You know, what's the quote? It's like, you know, to fully assimilate into an insane society is no sign of health. And it's not. Right? But that becomes, you know, when you ask somebody what they do when they go immediately, you know, the first question people ask is what you do.
Always.
Because you are defining yourself by
Always.
the kind of employment you have.
Always.
Man, that ain't got shit to do with who I am.
Nah.
You know what I mean? And I've lived the kind of life that has allotted me the opportunity to kind of do a whole bunch of shit. And what becomes very interesting in my perspective, and I think about it even when we was talking about Wadi the other day, and he was like, man, I really can't define myself. And I found myself in that predicament often.
Yeah.
And then I feel like less than because I really don't have an answer for you.
Yeah. Now, I have that response all the time. People like, what you do? I be like, it depends on the day. I don't know. It depends, right? But I don't feel no way about it.
But
they may.
That operates outside the
They
barriers
may,
of
which is really why they're asking you that. They're asking you that to assess you, like how valuable
should I treat you?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and to me, that's just that bullshit. That because there's some position I could tell you that you would then elevate me above another person, right? And I'm saying don't matter if I'm whatever, or I live under a bridge. I'm just a person, fam. Treat me straight like that, right? Just address me as a person. Evaluate me based off our interactions and what you see me do and what you like. Like, never mind what my title is. That shit, that don't mean nothing to me. Like, people throw titles around all the time. I don't give a shit about no damn title. It does not matter about nothing. But
Boosie, that might be a Midwest thing because this is what high school you went to here in Chicago too. But just, you know, when we start thinking about the social narrative, though. The social narrative is, what do you do?
Yeah, people ask all the time, man. Somebody just recently asked me that. And somebody I've been getting to know, we just been having a lot of conversations. It was like, do you know what I do? And I was like, nope, I don't know. Have you ever asked me that? Nope, I've never asked you. Had no intention on asking you that either. Like, if it came up, it came up. It would have came up like, oh, this is a passion of yours, this is something you like to do. But me just be like, so what you do for a living? Doesn't fucking matter to me. It just doesn't matter to me. Do I think you're a cool person or not is the only barometer here. What you do for a living, less important to me.
Yeah, I don't use it as a barometer to judge who you are, but I am interested
I think
to
that's
see
what
where you
people do,
spend
though.
your passion, where you spend your time,
Right, and
where you place your commitments.
And that I'm saying that is going to come up in our interactions. What I'm passionate about, what I spend my time doing, is going to come up in our natural interactions of getting to know each other. What I do for a living may not be what I'm passionate about at all.
But therein lies the lie, though. You know what I mean?
What lie?
The lie about your passion, right? If you spend all your time doing something else that you're not passionate about, then you don't have any fucking passion. That's how I feel about it. You lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself, right? But therein lies the barometer of how America works. It's one lie stacked on top of another lie stacked on top of another lie, and the lies start to become the definitive of truth. Man, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here. These bum-ass police can run around doing whatever they want to do, but they $100,000 in the context of people. Right? That's their salary. You don't have any power. Right? I just said we top out of the 1% tops out of the $100,000. I know goddamn well we don't got no power. So just because you got an equal number to me and you white,
right,
you still powerless.
Right.
I just did the breakdowns the other day about some of the trillions of dollars being made over just the pandemic. You don't matter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if I'm here for the reality of change, right, then I can't start at the bottom. I'm not looking to affect the bottom the most.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because change doesn't work at least in my mind, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? So it's just it's an interesting dynamic to me. But again, not to shit on nobody's ideas. I listened. I think it was an intriguing conversations that y'all had.
Yeah.
But again, man, for us, if we're going to effectively change governance, then you got to deal with some fucking government. It just is what it is. You know what I mean?
We got to deal with a lot of things that we don't want to deal with, including that piece. That's dope, Ready Rock. Like, if you having a conversation with a bunch of people and that doesn't come up, like on some initial conversation stuff, I think that's really, really cool, right? And this wasn't an initial conversation I was having with this person. This was, well into conversing with this person, but it was just like, nah, it would have never came up for me. Like, unless it came up just in natural conversation about things you're passionate about, things that you feel purposeful about doing. But just to be asking, not going to impact one way or the other, what I think about you as a person.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I've essentially been able to live like a double life, and it's not even like on purpose, but it's just happened, right? People know me in this arena or that arena or that arena or that arena, and it's always interesting to me how they kind of associate me with the arena in which they met me in. Like, that's just the totality of my existence. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just I don't like to live like that. I'm a creative. I'm worldly. I'm in it. You know what I mean? So whenever the opportunity arises or wherever I see something that I'm interested in, I go for it. You know what I mean?
I feel you on, and I feel the same way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like, nah, I'm just me. Like that's really what it is, man. So listen, we gotta take a quick break. When we come back, we'll jump into the conversation for today. This is I Said What I Said. His name is Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said. We'll be here till 6. We'll be right back.
WIFTVPN. Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Hey, that's the court. You know what I'm saying? You see that they tearing the shit down, though, man. I remember back in the day, everybody used to be out here juking and shit, man. It's your boy, Young Fella, man. You know what I'm saying? Tearing our shit down, nigga. Come on, nigga. Fuck with those. 60638 to the world, blow, though. You understand?
On this road from a boy to a man with no one to hold my hand. Shit, I'm just praying that I make it home safe. You never know what to expect when living life up in the jacks. One wrong step could be the reason you don't make it home safe. Gang writings on the walls, niggas running from the laws. But through it all, we just really trying to make it home safe. Navigating the obstacles of the streets can be one hell of a feat. Think it's sweet, you might not make it home safe. A bunch of children of the ghetto, unaware of the shit that awaited us all. Staring at the letter CVL spray painted on walls. Was just a tender boy, son of a single mother, expecting a baby girl. Now yet subjected to this crazy world. And at this time, I'm thinking life was all Saturday morning cartoons.
What's happening, good people? We are back. We are live from the What's In It from the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said alongside Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. Behind the glass in the production studio doing all of the hard work is the one and only Ron Riller. Ron, what's the word, my brother?
Man, if I was feeling any better, I'd sell myself.
See, right on, man. Right on. I'm trying to bring you along, my brother. You know, start listening to me about some important things and not just stealing my cool sayings, you know?
I'm paying attention. I got something to show y'all after the show.
Uh-oh. He's probably an engagement ring to some girl he met last
You
night.
got a girl phone number? Go ahead, boy.
It's an engagement ring for some girl he met last night.
Little Rodney growed up around here.
I met this girl last night when I went to...
She gave me her Instagram.
So I went and got this engagement ring. How y'all think I should present it?
So I DM'd her. She ain't hit me back. It's been a week.
Oh, I love her. Oh, I love her so much. Shout out to Mama McIntosh coming through with the stars. We greatly, greatly appreciate those.
Auntie Shelly, what up, though?
Indeed. It was what was you trying to play that now or later?
No, we can play if you want to, man. But really, is I guess we got to set up some context.
Raymond said Ron got a promise ring.
But I read this article this morning, man, and it's called Behind John Thompson's Closed Door Meeting with Drug Kingpin Rayful Edmonds III. Right?
So John Thompson, the late, great legendary basketball coach of Georgetown.
And Rayful Edmonds,
the
legendary drug kingpin
legendary
of Washington, D.C.
Drug kingpin of the DMV.
I was thinking about that, man. Who would be Chicago's version of Rayful Edmonds III? And
Chicago's a gangster city.
I'm asking you that because I don't think we have that guy.
No, it was like the East Coast, like in like DC specifically. It ain't like gang culture like that, right? So it creates the opportunity for these individual brands or offsets of, you know, people to kind of go up and become these type of figures. Whereas here, it would have to be, you know, who's Larry Hoover, who is Jeff Ford, who are people who started these gang things. But it's just an individual to come up, make his own moves, take over the dope game like Rayful Edmonds did. I don't know that Chicago has somebody to equally represent that.
I don't think their names are as viable. I think we got them, though. Matter of fact, I ain't even gonna say I think. I know we got them. But I just think the dichotomy is interesting, like how these people grab this celebrity in these other places, and although they exist here, it's none of those national conversations
that's what I mean.
around
There's nobody like that we could compare to, like, in terms of the name that, like, who
yeah, we just shun the spotlight when we're in those positions. But
yeah,
either way, though,
we like, nah, fam.
So in context, I guess like Rayful Edmonds would be like similar to, let's say, a Fluky Stokes, because in his era, Fluky had like a big name. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And John Thompson is who John Thompson is. You know what I mean? And let's play this video first. Let's play this video, then we kind of get into it.
Cool.
We made USAA
right after they
insurance
show
for
this
this
ad.
season. When being a fan on the budget gets
We don't
tough,
control their ads,
they
obviously.
So saving on auto insurance is easy.
What about that Willie guy? That's Nicole Rogers. That's Willie the Wimp, Fluky Stokes' son.
For 27 years, I was at Georgetown.
Players win! Players win! John Thompson is the first black coach to ever win the NCAA basketball championship.
Probably made far more mistakes than I ever had success because we attempted to do things.
I want to thank Coach Thompson for saving my life.
People tend to fear what they do not know. Because of how we carried ourselves, people had a tendency to say that we were trying to intimidate. We were trying to win.
Alongside Jesse Washington of The Undefeated, the author of I Came as a Shadow, an autobiography in conjunction with the late, great John Thompson. This is a pleasure to get a chance to do this. And I'll just tell you in advance, this is coming to a podcast near you because as our talks off air have clearly shown, there's a lot to get to here that really interests me. And I just want to start, Jesse, with this. If we compare John Thompson, the perception of the man, and who the man was, how vastly different were they?
An ocean. And that's really why he wrote the book. After all these years of sucking it up, of taking it on the chin, in order to protect his players, in order to win games, in order to focus, he felt that now was the time to explain what he did and really why he did it, and the people who influenced him to do the things that he did.
Did it hurt him, or how so, to be viewed as this man who inspired fear, I think, in people when maybe it served its purpose, but wasn't necessarily who was really at the root of the man?
Coach Thompson was still Coach Thompson to the end and through the writing of this book, so he's not going to give you, as he would say, the back door to the Alamo. But I think when people read the book, they're going to get a sense of the pain that it must have delivered to anybody to be called things you're not, to be called a racist when you are the one who is being treated in a racist fashion, to be vilified, to be demonized just because you're a big black guy with a big voice. Right. I think that there was pain, although he held on to it and he conquered it really for the betterment of us all.
Not surprisingly, as a guy from the DMV who rooted for the Maryland side of a rivalry that was really interesting in the beginning because Lefty looked at Georgetown as not worthy of their regard. And then John and Georgetown became more than Maryland, and they didn't see Maryland as worthy of regard, and he was right. But it's amazing to realize that when Lefty went into the hall, who did he have introduce him? John Thompson. How do we best explain what those men meant to one another?
Lefty and Coach Thompson had this relationship that Coach had with a lot of his rivals. On the outside, he hated them. He wanted to kill them. He had to feel that way in order to win. But he reveals in his book, he had a respect for Lefty Driesell, for Jim Boeheim, for Lou Carnesecca. These were people who he fought against, but he loved them at the same time because Lefty helped Coach Thompson learn how to set up a national program, how to make a national impact, how to revive basketball in the Washington area.
There's one chapter of the book entitled simply Rayful. And again, if you're from here, you know what that means. Rayful Edmonds, he was, in short, a massive drug kingpin. And he had the kind of reach and kind of cachet locally where if he wanted to get to Georgetown kids and hang with them, he could. When John summoned him, the legend goes like he called him in, sat him down, and gave him the what for. Was John really doing that, or was John maybe even playing chess with Rayful Edmonds?
He was playing 3D chess, as he was tended to do. You know, the legend of John Thompson pointing his finger in his face and threatening Rayful was based on this stereotype, a racist stereotype of him as this big, scary, intimidating black guy.
Right.
In reality, they approached each other with respect. And Rayful respected Coach Thompson and didn't want to harm everything that he was doing, particularly for the black community in Washington. And so it really unfolded on that basis. I want Coach Thompson to be able to tell it in his words, so that's all I'll say.
Okay.
But it was much different than is portrayed.
If you were to sum up in closing maybe the thing that John was proudest of, what made John proudest about what he was able to accomplish?
It would be being a teacher. And not just teaching kids how to get their diploma from Georgetown, but really teaching them about life and about teaching us about ourselves, about teaching everybody, even to this day, that black people can succeed intellectually and can chase success with their minds and not just by dunking their way to glory. That's what he was proudest of.
SV Pod, at some point when you have the time and we could really air this out, I would love to do it because, again, being from here, who he is, I came to actually know him a little bit in a later life as interviewing as a radio host, I should say. Going on John's show was amazing to me, so I look forward to talking even more about this book with you. Go buy it. I Came as a Shadow, Jesse Washington writes about John Thompson. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a powerful piece. I like that you pulled that one to show, man. John Thompson is a giant, right? Literally and figuratively. You're talking about a black man, 6'10", always an imposing figure, people that you walks into a room and he just commands your attention just by his sheer size, but then his voice and the way he was willing to use it, and then the impact that he had on basketball, on the college landscape, and on so many lives of so many young black men was powerful. And so, again, kudos to the late, legendary coach John Thompson for everything that he contributed. But you talk about this particular story, man, that is, can't nobody else do that. Coach K can't do that.
Coach K can't do that. But part of the reason why I wanted to have this conversation is because after reading the article, and I'm definitely going to go grab the book, somebody asked why is Georgetown or why is John Thompson in the news right now after his death. They just released a book. His autobiography is just being released because he passed earlier this year, I believe it was. And there's a portion of the book titled Rayful. And if you just tuned in or you don't know who Rayful Edmonds is, he's a notorious drug kingpin from the D.C. area, you know. And after reading the article, man, all I could think about was my father. You know what I'm saying? I said, damn, this just reminds me of my daddy. And in a lot of ways, too. But, it's, you know, I guess it'd be the outside looking in. It reminds me of myself. And it just speaks to, like, authentic masculinity is supposed to look like, in my opinion, right? But it also speaks to the changing or seeing people as humane instead of going with the stereotypes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
John Thompson was acutely aware of who Rayful Edmonds was.
Had to be.
He had a history of he had a history with just being in the DMV area, but this was pre-Iverson, right? This conversation was pre-Iverson. This was like Alonzo Mourning era, you know, and Zoe. I don't know where Zoe is originally from, but he came to Georgetown and was like, you know, enamored with Rayful Edmonds. You know what I'm saying? He got to go. You know how the dope boy do. You know what I'm saying? You get the free meal here. You go hoop with his team, and you get to wear his clothes or his. You know what I'm saying? Ride around in his car. You know that type of demo. And John didn't want him to get in trouble, and he wasn't fully aware of what Alonzo Mourning was doing. So he was kind of worried, like, man, I hope he ain't tooting cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't know. So what he did was he summoned Rayful Edmonds. Ain't that a bitch? Right? You know what I'm saying? The summon is the kingpin. You know what I mean? And there's always been this kind of like rumor around how that played out. And it just wasn't the truth. And John Thompson had never talked about it publicly. And in the book, he writes a chapter called Rayful. You know what I mean? But he talks about it from the standpoint of just kind of, it wasn't like, no, I was berating this dude. I respected this dude.
First of all, to put out a narrative like that shows your ignorance, right, about what was actually happening here and how power dynamics work in our community, right? And so powerful as a man as John Thompson was, and rightfully so, even he knew better than to berate Rayful Edmonds like that. Like, yeah, I got enough power to summon him to come see me, right? Because I know as an older black man standing in my proper polarity, even as the street kingpin, he gonna respect the fact that I told him to come here, right? So he's coming to see me, but I ain't gonna have him come in here and be like, "You better stop doing it." Like nah. First of all, he don't need my money, right? He got more power and influence outside of this world of basketball than I do, right? And so no, I can't approach him like that. But I can say, listen, man, I see how you getting down. I'm not tripping about how you getting to it, but I got some shorties right here that I'm trying to get to the next level. I'm trying to get them some degrees. I'm trying to get some of them to the NBA. Can you please just love them from a distance?
And also, like, I'm a huge hoops fan.
Yeah.
Right? And Georgetown was like the college team of my youth. I don't want to say the college team, but for black boys, like John Thompson was like the pinnacle of black collegiate athlete.
It's only so many like national logos from like college teams. You know what I'm saying? Georgetown was definitely one.
Yeah, man. And John Thompson just represented something different, though. He did represent kind of that black masculinity, and he offered like a helping hand to the black community. If you know the story of Allen Iverson being the #1 player in football and basketball, but getting in a little bit of trouble, and everybody turned their back on him. And it was trouble that wasn't even really warranted him. He got in trouble because it was just racism. You know what I mean? But legitimately, everybody turned their back on the boy. And John Thompson said, "No, you can come through here, but here's the rules to, make it happen."
Right.
You know, and you just saw in the little video clip right there, you saw the clip of Iverson saying, "Thanks for Coach Thompson for saving my life." And that's really the fucking truth. You know, but the Rayful Edmonds part of this conversation is even more interesting than the Iverson conversation, in my opinion.
Right.
Because it just represents something different. He didn't get nothing out of the Rayful conversation other than the protection of his players. Like, I don't want them living this life. Right, but the level of honesty that these two dudes had together in the dialogue that they was having, and I only know a little bit because I don't have the book, but I only got an excerpt from the book, and I wanted to read that real quick, right? So we're gonna go into the little excerpt. He said, "Our conversation was a bit like pig Latin. We spoke around the elephant in the room. We both knew what it was, but I had no need to identify it. The conversation was serious and firm, with no small talk. I got right to the point. I don't know what's going on with you, and I don't care what's going on with you. That's your business," I said, "but I'm hearing things about Alonzo and JT. What I'm hearing could cause them a lot of problems. It could affect their basketball careers. I don't need anything going on with my players. The school doesn't need it. The players don't need it. I don't get involved with anybody's business, but if there's anything going on, I need you to let me know right now." Rayful said, "Nothing's happening, Coach Thompson. People are making up a lot of stuff. All we do is play ball, go get something to eat, maybe hang out a little bit." We went back and forth in this manner, and as I tried to gather as much information as possible. I was the authority figure and led the conversation, but I knew I had very little leverage. I couldn't control him. If what I had if what I had heard about him was true, Rayful had all the money in the world. If he wanted to cause problems for me, that would have been easy. He could have simply keep showing up at the campus and keep taking my players to restaurants and nightclubs, and he could arrange for something to be left in their dorm rooms. If he got arrested, he could say they were involved. All the possibilities ran through my mind. But I quickly recognized that Rayful wasn't hostile towards me or my team. The young man loved basketball. He respected what I represented and the game he played every day. He might have been running an operation that made millions, but Rayful was also a Georgetown basketball fan. And what is it? I'm trying to get to a certain point. So I had a level of respect for Rayful too. I didn't respect or condone selling drugs. I was probably a bit naive about the extent of his activities when we first met. I knew he ran the city, but I didn't realize he had an operation that extended up and down the whole East Coast. Still, I didn't look down on him as a human being. I didn't want to judge him. I still don't. As a black kid growing up in the neighborhood, his opportunities were limited, which inevitably affected his choices he made. So what can we do here? I asked, because I really don't need this kind of stuff in my life. My players' careers could be ruined. The school could be hurt. Can you control this situation? We both know the type of things that should not be happening. Can you make sure that they don't? Oh, yeah, that's no problem, Rayful said. You don't have nothing to worry about. Not with Alonzo. Wait a minute. He only said Alonzo. What about JT, I asked. Rayful tried to be tactful about it. JT isn't doing anything, Coach Thompson, but he enjoys being around the guys who might be. You know who might be doing something he's attracted to. He's attracted to the lifestyle. I tell him to stay away from that, but you know how he is. Rayful shared the details I found particularly significant. You remember the huge cell phones back in the days in the 1980s that was the size of a quart of milk against your ear? Rayful said JT carried one of those around, but the service was not activated. He just wanted people to see him with it. So it goes on and on and on and on and on, right? And then there's something that comes back to Coach Thompson from the guy who sent message to Rayful that he needs to see Coach Thompson. And he said when they left the gym after having that conversation, Rayful was just kind of like elated, like, man, John Thompson wanted to talk to me. You know what I mean? And for me, man, I'm reading the article, and I'm saying to myself, like, these are the men that raised me in my village. You know what I mean? Like, and we was doing all kind of dirty shit, and they probably was doing dirty shit when they was at my age in that bracket.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was a level of authenticity, a level of love, and a level of respect. Even in the conversation we just had even before we got here, we talked about how people judge you based on what you do. John Thompson explicitly says in this article right here, he's like, man, I saw him as a human, not what he did, just as a human. You know what I mean? And that opened up the door for respect. And again, John Thompson had no context to this because John Thompson saw him as this drug kingpin.
Right.
But when it came back to him, he was like, you know, Rayful was like, shit, man, I just got an opportunity to speak to John Thompson. Like, that was the greatest shit in the world.
Now I've arrived.
Now I'm here.
Fuck all this other shit.
Right? I'm here.
John Thompson want to talk to me.
Yeah, and I think about that in context, like, because I got some partners, man, that, you know, that I'm being honest, they probably some of the heaviest cats in this city around crime. You know what I mean? And I ain't saying that, like, as a badge of honor. It's kind of under the Rayful Act. That just was the opportunities afforded them, and they just happen to be good at it. You know what I mean? But their life is their life, not mine, and I don't judge them based on that in that capacity.
Right.
We got a friendship that evolved around something completely different.
Right.
But I specifically remember, man, when my daddy fell ill, and when it was getting bad, you know what I mean? And these dudes look up to my father like I did.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I remember them coming to the crib, and they be leaving out the crib crying, man, and that just always blew my mind because I know how the city sees them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just was very interesting, man, and it just kind of left a mark on my brain and on my heart, too, that this is kind of really the impact of what manhood looks like. And my father wasn't no big, imposing guy like John Thompson. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no tough Tony shit. It wasn't even rooted in that. It was really just rooted in respect.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
My old man knew who them niggas was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I used to always trip when they'd be like, you know, I can't come to the crib because I smell like weed.
Yeah.
Like, it just used to be always interesting to me.
Them cats.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And they were in the streets.
Right.
People fear these dudes. You know what I mean? And it just rang a bell with me today, man. I don't know. When I read the article, it just made me think back to Eric Werner, man. And I'm proud to have a father like that. One, I'm proud to be from a village like that, from a village of men like that. Even Uncle Walter, you know, when he calls, you could hear it through the phone. It's that kind of a cat. You know what I mean? And my father made it. He made it his business to put men like that in my community, and I try to do the same thing for my son. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that shit just rung a bell with me. It struck a nerve with me when I read that, man. Like that was the definitive. It's kind of like what we talk about when we listen to Salim. You know what I'm saying? Salim is that he is that mark.
100%.
He's that goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think that's some dope shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that was a super, super powerful article. I'm glad that you brought it into the show because it tells a multifaceted story about how we interact with each other in our communities and how we still see value in each other even after the point, or well beyond the point where mainstream society would have been done away with you, right? Like, oh, Rayful Edmond is this. Okay. He's also this, right? He's also that. He's also this, right? And just because he is a drug kingpin, right, which me personally, it's hard for me to be like, terrible, terrible, terrible drug kingpin, and then be like, CEO of Pfizer, great fucking guy, wildly successful. You selling
True
dope,
story.
man. Just because somebody said that you can sell your dope, and they said you can't sell your dope, that don't mean shit to me. You still addicting people to substances all day long, selling as much dope as you can. You got trap houses on every corner. Just because that trap house is boarded up with busted windows and that trap house say Walgreens and CVS, same fucking shit to me, right? And so for John Thompson to then see the human side of Rayful to be like, first of all, I can talk to him, right? Because most people wouldn't do that. Most people are like, oh, well, I know the governor, or I know the mayor. Hey, what are we going to do about this dope dealer around my players?
I'm scared of
You know what I'm saying? I'm scared of him.
You're right.
Right? No, I'm not scared of you. I'm going to call you. I'm going to get word to you because I'm John Thompson and you Rayful, and we can reach each other, right? Let me get you down here. Let's have a conversation. Let me show you the proper level of respect because I know how critical this conversation is, not for me per se, but for my players. If I'm really here for my players, I understand how critical this conversation is. And if I'm off-putting to you and you can be like, man, fuck you, I'm leaving. I don't got to listen to this. Now what positions are my players in? Are my players in, right? And so he understood that, I need to approach this thing with some level of tact to be able to reach this dude. And then once he did, he's like, yo, this dude is actually dope. He ain't no just crazy drug dealing savage. He's a fan of the program. He loves the game. And he cares about my kids enough to say, Lonzo, he cool. JT, he love this shit.
He out here, G. You can't save him.
He with me and I can't. I'm telling him like, hey, be cool. Don't be over there with them. He love this shit. He love the big phones. He over there doing with the drugs and he with the shits all the time, right? And so I'm like, that's all I can tell you about him. You need to watch him. I'm not his problem. He his own problem.
He his own problem.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, that was necessary to be able to have those types of interactions and to be able to respect each other from both sides of that conversation in a way that if you ain't us, you can't feel that. You can't make that connection. You can't fake it, right? Rayful would have knew if you was faking, and John Thompson would have knew if Rayful was faking. And both of them understood that. They approached each other from a real space, an honest space, and then it allowed them to develop an understanding because Rayful was going to be who he was, and John Thompson was obviously going to be who he was in that very same city. And so it makes a whole lot of sense to find ways to coexist other than finding reasons to be combative, because that's ain't no winning in that. Not for neither one of them, right? Rayful do not need to take on Georgetown University, and John Thompson, when he's trying to look out for the best interests of 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old boys, black boys, you do not need to go up against Rayful Edmond, not in D.C. at that time. So both of them understanding that and seeing value in that partnership was really, really dope. And
just seeing the humanity in it though, that's really dope to me, man.
Yeah,
and that's something that we missing. We had Wadi in here the other day, and he was talking about how the adults in the community is afraid of the children, and that's because they don't see the humanity in it. We talked about how the sister had called the police on him and said he had a gun because because they don't see the humanity in black men. And I know this is painting with a broad brush, and I don't want to, assume that we all move in this manner, but it is much more prevalent than it needs to be. Right, and I think that story right there just kind of exemplifies how we find the humanity in one another and the kind of output and the responses you can get once you're operating from that space. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I saw somebody in the comments talking about, what's up with that $600 that stimulus conversation. I think that's a conversation where they're getting into too. Yeah. I know we finna go into a break in a minute. So I definitely want to get into that conversation. I don't know if we're going to hit it as soon as we come back, but I want to find a few statistics on that.
Yeah, we can definitely hit that conversation. Another thing I want to ask you about, and this is a piggybacking off another conversation that I was having with Brother Sadiq on the collective conversation. The green side of things was this idea of who is today's Santa Claus, right? It's like in a larger perspective. Like, what is it that's happening out here that we are believing in wholeheartedly that's truly a fallacy? It's not a real thing, right? And so my answer to that was like Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, like, you know what I mean? There are a lot of things that we are kind of believing in just because, right? And it's like the boogeyman or Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny. Like, these things are not
Jesus.
real. I like how you came with that piece. I saw you came with that piece in the comments. I agree.
Yeah, but that's a hard one for us to deal with. Most of us will never deal with that.
Nah.
And most times if someone says that out loud, they kind of reject it. It's blasphemous.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? But it's a great story, but it's a story.
Yeah, it's a story. It's a story that's been adapted and redacted and everything else for, I don't know, however long it's been going on. And, you know, I think there are valuable lessons in the Bible. I use them all the time. I was listening to one of my favorite preachers, Marcus Cosby, give a sermon this morning, right? But I understand it. Like, I have perspective on it, right? I value the stories. I take the lessons and apply them, you know, where applicable. But, you know, believing it verbatim, word for word is something I can't really get to. I can't really.
You know, when you ask me what's Santa Claus and what's something that we believe in, it's not really real.
Yeah.
I was just scrolling, and as soon as you said that, I ran across this picture of this black brother with a T-shirt on that says "Black Brilliant Billionaire in the Making." That's Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
You know what I mean? The viability, the option of that happening is not real.
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. But those are that aspirational belief system is where we anchor ourselves in for our life guides.
That's why you're going to sell 20,000 of those T-shirts.
Absolutely.
Do you know 20,000 billionaires, black billionaires?
Aspiration is real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Aspiration is real. We really buy into it, and it becomes the standard in which we live our lives.
That is
but it's a falsehood
right?
when you start to operate within that aspiration over our reality.
Right. When you fully know what's going on, you know that is not a real thing. We got to take a break. When we come back, what happened to that conversation? We'll talk about the $600 stimulus check. We'll talk about Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and much more. This is I Said What I Said, Herb and Tou till 6. We will be right back.
WIFTV-PM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Where my steppers at?
This is retired State Senator Ricky Hendon. This is my new song, Be My Christmas. It's on my House Party CD, produced by house music icons King Farley. It's available on my website, HollywoodHendon.com, various streaming platforms, and CDs. The album also has songs like We Getting Lit and Rona Money. Get the House Party CD in time for Christmas and New Year's Eve. This is our new song, We Getting Lit. Just in time for New Year's Eve. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Go to HollywoodHendon.com and get my music. Let's bring in 2021. Ricky Hollywood Hendon. Don't forget me, y'all.
This is the king of house music, Farley Jack Master Funk, and I endorse Hollywood Ricky Hendon. Let's go to work.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what a cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
What's good, family? We are back live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. Do you know Brother Sadiq tried to take my thuggery away?
Yeah, I heard him talking about the wine.
Yeah, he said my drinking choice is too high level for me to be talking about thuggery. So I should be drinking like Paul Masson or something. So I told him I prefer to drink like Douce or something like that or whatever. He was like, "Oh, that ain't no thuggery. What, you need to be drinking some ENJ or something." He didn't really say what I should be drinking, but he said you got to take the thuggery away because apparently my drinking taste is too whatever.
Tell them you got to diversify, man. You can't be one dimensional.
Yeah,
nobody should be one dimensional.
I'm well rounded, man. To the point that you was making earlier on a serious note, this ability to be able to navigate different spaces, right? I think that is a valuable thing. And a lot of people, like I know different people from different circles, and sometimes I'll meet a person from this circle, and they happen to know somebody else from one of my other circles, and they be like, wait. How the hell you know both of them people? Like, them people, you shouldn't know both of them. Like, you should know this one or that one. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, nah, it's necessary to be able to navigate all those different spaces, I think, especially for us, right? Somebody got to be able to, come tell the squad what's going on, but then also go chop it up with upper management. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a necessary thing. Dude says it's too sweet for cognac, Herb. Well, put me on, Bueller. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you keep in the drawer of the principal's office when these kids getting on your nerves. You just pull out a little swig. Whoop. Let me know what's in there. You got some Macallan 12 in there or something. Like, let me know what's going on so I can be properly indulging. Before we went to break, we were having conversations just around manhood. Really, is what I would say the conversation was generally about. But also this ability to be able to see each other as human, no matter what side, no matter what walk of society they are in. I think that it's important to view people as valuable. That's it. Like that's really all it takes, right? Am I willing to invest some time and some energy into your humanity? That's really all I'm talking about. And so you see at the national level, right? You see at the national level where they're talking about $600 stimulus checks coming out to people. What do that tell you about the value that they're placing on these people, right? Like, especially when you talk about all that Japanese whiskey is the bomb. What is it? Jay Illa be drinking it all the time. I forgot what is it? Hibiscus or hibiscus or something like that? Hibaki, something like that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. That's really it's called something like that. I digress, man. $600, right? They telling you like, we send you $600. See what you can do with that. That's not cool.
What is that? At some point, man, I kind of always had this kind of rule of thumb in life. You're going to be the victim until you decide you're not going to be the victim no more. You know what I mean? Bullies don't stop victimizing you until you decide you're not going to be victimized.
Right.
It just kind of is what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's that conversation like we was having the other day when that, people always talk about the pen is mightier than the sword. Only after they've used the sword. You've already been conquered when the pen even gets into play.
Right. I ain't show up with a pen like, hey.
Yeah, I ain't show up with this fucking pen. I showed up with this motherfucking weapon.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the pen becomes powerful because at that point you already know who the boss is.
Yeah. Whatever I write goes.
That's it, right? So when we start operating from that space, I think it's like, shit, after a while, you're not even a victim no more. You're a volunteer. You know what I mean? And I think we're in that space of volunteering, right? We volunteer for the levels of oppression that we accept, right? It just is what it is. If we was talking about people choosing their careers over their communities, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, then that's what becomes your God. You know what I mean? And if that's what man, how many stories you done heard of the motherfucker that got fired right before his retirement?
Oh, lots.
It happens. That's the plan, motherfucker. That's the goal of this.
We got everything we can get out of you. We ain't trying to pay you for the next.
Suck the juice dry.
Right.
Capitalism does not love you, man. It can't love you back, right? But we found ourselves with this immense value in things. You see them. I grew up in a neighborhood where the motherfucker will wash his car every 3 days, but treat his wife like shit. That car don't give you no intrinsic value, my man. It can't love you back.
That's powerful.
It can't love you back, cuz.
That's truth.
You understand? But the world gonna always be the world.
That's true, because we all know people like that. That's
yeah,
true.
the world is gonna always be the world. G. No matter who's in control, I keep saying this.
Bible.
But how we move amongst ourselves is our fucking decisions, right? We cannot plan for COVID, but we can love each other through it. It's just that simple. But we've equated our value to what the fuck we have materially. And that ain't your fucking value. That ain't your value. You shallow if that's your value. You fucking valueless.
You don't even know value.
You don't even know value, fam. And that's the vast majority of us. Right? But it's also why we such fucking cowards. Because we are scared to lose our fucking billups. We scared to lose our fucking luxury car. We scared to lose our fucking address.
Because
that we don't even invite people over to because it ain't a home.
That's because we don't deem ourselves as valuable, but for those little trinkets. Like, I can't let go of this shit because that's the only value I see in my own self.
Because we fucking cowards, though.
Yeah.
It's a coward move, right? And whenever you operate in that space of cowardice, you are unable to be vulnerable, you unable to love, and you unable to give or receive it. Give or receive love. It is what the fuck it is. But because our journey isn't predicated on love, it's predicated on things, then we essentially sacrifice freedom for things continually, over and over and over and over again. We sacrifice comfort for things over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, on the regular.
For things. Things that don't intrinsically bring you any value. You just pay attention. The motherfuckers you know with the nicest houses don't got no fucking friends that share the house with. Don't nobody come spend no time with them motherfuckers. They trapped in that big ass fortune. It's just a big jail. That's all it is. You just got a pretty prison. It's still prison, you fucking clown. It's still prison. But we so like prison. We so like to be trapped in these spaces and places. Just look at social media, G. We always talk about we leverage social media every fucking day. It's the social media, is this the problem?
That's real.
It's the social media, is this the problem? The problem is the people that's leveraging social media are a shallow hole of a person. So the shit is a fucking show. The world has really become a stage. Right? You got 1,800,000 motherfucking friends on all social media sites. But don't nobody knock on your door to check to see how you doing. Right? And the shit is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So even in the John Thompson story with Rayful Edmonds, John Thompson saw the humanity in that little brother. Right? Regardless of what the social narrative was, I can see you as humane, as a human. Right? But now we skip 3 generations, 4 generations. My children, G, they don't know nobody in my neighborhood.
Right.
Their entire friend base is met through this fucking social platform. And it's normalized. And then we look at their asses and wonder why they don't have no social skills.
Right. They're not socializing.
They're not socializing.
Right.
It's all a fucking parade.
Right.
Right? And I'm not judging because, again, these are my children I'm talking about. I ain't talking about nobody else's. But this is how the world has evolved. And I wonder, is it an evolution?
No,
is it a regression?
Whatever it is, it's intentional.
It's
right?
definitely
like,
intentional.
It's intentional because it becomes this one-way thing. There's a lot of value in that way of relating for people at the very top, right? So I get all this data. I know what everybody's doing at any given moment. I know exactly where you are. Every single time I leave my house, my phone tells me where I'm going. Like, I ain't done shit. I ain't put nothing in my phone. I ain't said I'm going nowhere. Just based off what day it is and what time it is, when I leave the house, my phone tells me where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? And
you're a fucking robot.
Yeah. And so they're getting all the information they need, but they're not giving anything back to you, not even the skill set of being able to relate to people. In fact, they're taking it away from you more and more and more. You don't even have the ability to relate to somebody in person. So you walk around, I got 5,000 friends. Move tomorrow. See if 5,000 motherfuckers show up to pick up a box in here to help you move.
But fuck moving. Your ass is suffering from depression because you don't have any experiences with other people.
Don't nobody even give a fuck.
You sitting in this motherfucker talking to a television or a screen,
Ain't
whatever form or facet it is, it's just a screen. It can't love you, man. And the lies that you telling or the lies that you receiving, whatever energy it is, it's still not fulfilling.
No, it can't be.
It's still not fulfilling, but it's based in the level of cowardice that we are operating in. And I'm talking about cowardice in regards to like understanding love. Right? And when you fully grasp and grapple and understand love, it spawns certain reactions. The day I met my son is the day I decided that his life was more valuable than mine. Period. And that's at all cost. right? So that means if the little homies in the streets is shooting shit up, then I've got to ingratiate myself in the streets because one day they gonna come cross his path. And they got to know this my baby, period. I can touch them easily. I can get out there tomorrow. And that's exactly how that shit started. As he grows older, there's other facets of the world that's going to be introduced to him. Then it's my fucking duty as his daddy to get in front of them too. Whether that be the police, whether that be the goddamn mayor, whether that be the goddamn government, in whatever capacity to make this road safer and easier to obtain for him. And it should be his fucking goal to do the same thing for the generation that comes up under him. But that is just not where we're at. And the American government knows it. They knows that you're dependent. They know that you are dependent on the nipple of materialism. Right? And we slaves, bro.
No,
they ain't whooping your ass, but you still a slave.
We're slave to the convenience of not having to really do shit for ourselves, right? So we're slave to the convenience of, well, I think the farming industry and all this shit is bad. I think the Food and Drug Administration is bullshit, right? But I sure like to be able to go to the grocery store. I sure ain't trying to grow shit on my own, right? So I'm still trying to go. It's like you can't. It can't be both. Either you fuck with it and you appreciate the convenience so much that you think it's worth the price of what it costs in terms of everything that goes into that industry, or you don't.
We overvalue the destination and devalue the journey, right? But in truth, man, the journey is where the value comes from, right? If I'm the greatest ball player in the world, what would that mean to me if I just showed up as the greatest ball player in the world?
Right. Nothing.
Right? If I hadn't earned that position, that greatest title wouldn't mean shit to me.
It's being born rich.
It's being born rich.
Money ain't shit. It don't mean shit to me.
It don't mean nothing to me. I can't even value it in the right capacity.
I came home from the hospital in a Bentley, fam. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the journey that makes the shit valuable, right? But we don't value the journey, right? So as long as we get to whatever that end goal is, it's okay. And most times the end goal is very minimal, specifically in our community, because we don't have any other experiences with anything else.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
It's just that simple. We've not even been exposed to anything else.
To even know that there's something else, right?
To even know that there's something
Brother
else.
Sadiq, I don't know how early you was watching the collective conversation, but early in the show, he told a joke, right? And it was like, and he said, there's a fish out in the ocean, right? And he gets caught. He gets caught on a hook, on a fishing hook. The fisherman's trying to reel him in. He's fighting. The fish is fighting, shaking. He finally gets him up out the water. Fish still fighting, shaking. Right before he gets him in the boat, fish shakes himself off the hook, falls back into the water. Right? Goes back into the water, does the other fish, right? Goes back to the school of fish, and he's like, yo, if y'all see these little shiny things hanging in the water, don't fuck with them, right? It's not food, right? It's going to hook you in your mouth. It's going to hurt. It's going to snatch you up, pull you out of the water, and shake you around. The other fish looked at me and said, what's water?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's water? What you mean? Snatch me out of the what?
Right. We don't have no experience.
What
This
you
is
mean?
The world.
Right. This ain't water to me. It just is what it is.
It
What do you mean? Snatch me out of the water. What's I'm in some water? You know what I'm saying? Like if that's all you know, that's all you've been accustomed to, you ain't even
It's
thought
water. That's why he kept saying it's water.
Right, that's why he kept saying it's water.
No,
right?
I didn't
What's
understand
water?
that,
Yeah.
so I didn't hear it then. But that's true.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. And that's what we are, right? So again, we accept the abuse, right? And it's not like again, like the idiot box TV, for example, it tells you what to think and what to see, right? And when it occupies that mind in that way, you're using very minimal brain power. Right? If you read a book, it'll open up your brain and you'll use more brain power. If you listen to music, it opens up your mind and you use more brain power. But the vast majority of us sit in front of screens with messages, and they're telling us what to think, what to see, right? And it controls the capacity to see beyond the water. You understand what I'm saying? So I talk all. God damn it, I'm named Tucson after Tucson Louverture.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Everybody named Mama knows about Napoleon. Very few know about Tucson. You understand me? But without Tucson, wouldn't have been no Louisiana Purchase. Wouldn't be no motherfucking New Orleans. That shit wouldn't exist in the capacity that we know it as. Right? But in all your history books, you got all this. Napoleon was the greatest warrior of all time. Tucson was a motherfucking slave without the weaponry or the army and beat the fuck out of Napoleon. Because his convictions was different.
Right. I'm out here for a different reason.
I'm out here for a different reason, cuz my convictions are different. You understand? When we talk about Castro and the Gestapo and all that shit, and Che Guevara and all them motherfuckers didn't have the armory, they didn't have the army.
Yeah.
But they had a different conviction.
There's a huge difference in being willing to kill about something and being willing to die about something.
Or to live about something.
If you ain't found nothing worth dying for, you ain't really living. You know what I'm saying?
It's the conviction, man.
That's the conviction. I am going to win this thing because I'm more convicted than you.
But we shallow. So we die over some money.
Oh,
We
yeah.
die over
We
some,
kill ourselves
some,
for it. What do you mean?
Some fame and some clout.
Yeah, we kill
Right?
ourselves over that type of shit.
But that shit is fiat currency that's not backed by nothing. It's valueless.
Right.
Right? And when you die over that kind of shit or when you kill over that kind of shit, the universe won't reward you, bro, because the universe recognizes it as valueless.
You get where you going, God be like, fool.
You the dumbest
You doubt
motherfucker
about
that showed
that
up
shit?
here. You understand me?
You know what I'm saying?
But if you have a bigger purpose, hence the journey. The journey.
Right.
The journey is that's why you were born, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fucking purpose of your journey. That's your journey. You're supposed to experience certain things.
What they say, you got a start date and you got a birth date and a death date.
Yeah, two
It's the
dates and a
in the
dash,
middle.
man.
It's the dash.
The dash got to say some shit.
The dash is where
It has to say some shit. And we're afraid of dealing with the dash. Because the dash is hard than a motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's hard to love a motherfucker for real, G.
But what's crazy is that's the only part of it that we control. We don't control the birth date. We don't control the death date. We got some control over the dash, but that's the part we sit out the most. Like,
But you know, when you ask who's Santa Claus, and I said Jesus, and I know motherfuckers get offended, but I don't give a fuck. Right? Because that's part of the conditioning. You understand? Right. Let me promise you this motherfucking glorious afterlife. But there are people right here, right now, living this glorious present life. Right? And I'm not just saying in regards to like capital and cars and more material shit that you think is glorious.
Right.
I mean that are walking in the fullness of their capacity as human beings. And that's some shit we rarely see.
Yeah.
Right? So I said a long time ago, this like I think it's less than 5% of motherfuckers on this planet that really operate in love. And people's like, you crazy. But if you take away all the materialistic shit that people value and you say who feels whole, you think it's more than 5% people?
Nah.
Yeah, I fucking doubt it.
Nah, everybody's struggling.
Because they fucking look like homeless people on the bench and people like, ain't no way. That can't be, ain't no way. Because they would be adverse to the insanity of the society in which we living in.
And some of those people are walking around with the peace of Jesus in their heart. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, your ass, for all of your trinkets and all of your possessions, anxious
empty than a motherfucker.
and stressed than a motherfucker.
Empty, man.
Yep.
Empty, soulless,
Yep.
miserable.
Yep.
Miserable. The goal of this journey.
And if
man,
you was to sit down and talk to that person who don't got shit, and you were to realize that they have the peace of God inside of them, you wouldn't even understand how the fuck is this person at peace.
you can't see it.
They don't got a car like mine.
But you deny their peace.
They don't got a. Of course, that's what I'm saying.
Because it doesn't fit into the illusion that you bought into hook, line, and sinker.
There's no way you are at peace without a house that look like mine, without a car that look like mine, without clothes that look like mine, without a title that reads as mine reads. How the fuck you at peace?
Just not,
motherfucker, because I found the real value in this bitch.
You ever seen somebody die, G?
Yes.
Like for real?
Take that
up
last
close?
breath, yes.
Yeah, me too. I've seen a few. Right? I've seen a few. And if you ever had somebody like go to hospice or something like that, hospice will give you a book on what to expect when people die. You understand me? And in most situations, the book kind of is in alignment with truth. You know what I mean? But this is some spiritual shit in my opinion. You know what I mean? I've seen a few people die, you know. And if you read the hospice books, it tells you to be alert and aware. There's going to be convulsions and, you know, the body's going to jerk and it's going to be a wild experience. You know what I mean? And some of them deaths that I witnessed happened just like that. You know what I mean? But going back to my father, brother, I knew when he was going to die. I knew it. I just felt it inherently when it was going to happen. And he was standing in my house, so I tried to push my family away, like, go away this weekend. Because I know this shit happening this weekend. Right. You know what I mean? And the day that it happened, something in my spirit called me down to his bed. And it called me down maybe 10, 15 minutes before this shit took place. And I watched him transition, right? And it was the most peaceful shit I've ever seen in my life. Right? And not only was it peaceful for him, but it was also peaceful for me, which I surely didn't expect. You know what I mean?
How could you expect that?
And I came to the realization spiritually that man just did his fucking job. He walked his journey.
He had run his course.
He did. He walked the journey.
Mm-hmm.
He walked the journey, G. Now, I love that man to death, but he didn't equate to much financially. You know what I'm saying? That just wasn't it. But a hell of a man. Had a wealth of experiences. The vast majority of motherfuckers in my circle can't say they did.
Right.
Now, that shit didn't amount to material shit.
Right.
Right? But he walked his path. He
Lived
left
a whole
an
lot of
indelible
life.
imprint on me and then most of the people he dealt with. You saw Auntie Shelly a minute ago and hit somebody, Eric Warner the Great, you know, you hear his name, motherfuckers speak about him in that capacity. You know what I mean? But when he died, nigga, I was scrambling trying to figure out how I was going to take care of my mama. So, it ain't no illusion that there wasn't no money there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But money wasn't the definitive.
Right.
And when I think about life, I don't want to be the jerking convulsion motherfucker. I want the spirit to be at one with me when I walk through that path.
I'm rolling.
I did what I came here to do. I don't even know what the fuck I came here to do, to be honest with you. But I'm fluid and open. I'm fluid and open.
That's real, man. That's real.
And I ain't scared.
That's real, man.
And we so fucking scared.
Yeah, I want my last breath to be peaceful as hell, right? And I don't know where we get to that space where those other things become more valuable, right? Where those materialistic things become more valuable than, connections and partnerships with family. Like when we shorties, we don't, like, you hear a lot of people say, like you hear celebrities do interviews and stuff like that, they be like, well, I didn't even know we was broke, right? Like, that, as a shorty, you don't really know that, right? There's no real context to it, right? It's just, this is just your crib, right? And at some point, as you become more aware of things, you like, oh, we was broke as shit. Like, you didn't really know it, but it just is what it is. But when you are in it, again, what's water? You know what I'm saying? Like what you mean out the water? Like, who in water? What?
Bueller says, is it either or? Are peace and financial stability binary?
No.
I don't know, right? Because again, financial stability is in the context of the paradigm in which we understand.
There is the key.
It's the water joke.
There is the key.
It's the water,
Right.
right? But I'm saying that our purpose has to be bigger than the water that we've found ourselves in. Now, granted, we got to master it. We got to master it because we're here, right? But either we got to master it or change it, right? And that's what I said this a few weeks ago, too. I said success is a very shallow goal. Once you won one championship, it's almost damn near. The minute you win it, the first interview you get is what you gonna do next year? We're gonna win another championship, and it becomes a continuum of winning championships, right? But at the end of that, the shit should really be, if you really want to see your capacity of a human, is like, fuck this championship. I know I can do this.
Right.
So I know I can do this again. How do I change the concept of the game? How close can I get to the sun?
Right.
How close can I get to this motherfucker? You know what I mean? I want to extend beyond my human capacity.
Yeah. I think that it's all about perspective, right? And so when Bueller says is financial stability, do they have to be binary? Like nah, they don't, right? I don't think it's like a mutually exclusive thing at all, right? I think that it can be both, but it depends on what your perspective of financial stability is. It depends on what your perspective of success is, right? Can I be successful and at peace? Sure you can, right? Can I be financially stable and at peace? Absolutely you can. But what is your idea of financial stability? Is it this continuous pursuit of money, or is there some level that offers me the freedom to do what I want to do, the freedom for me to be at peace with myself? And if that involves, I got to have this constant, never-ending pursuit of money, then I don't know that you're going to find peace in that, right? Because numbers are infinite. But if you're talking about, I got enough money to where I can pay my bills and I can still do whatever the hell I want to do today, financial stability, that could also come with peace.
So is the concept of success. It's all subjective.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. What is that you find successful?
To a motherfucker that don't got running water in their house, goddamn it, I'm a gazillionaire.
And again, even that though, right? If we talking about success just from a financial space, I don't know how much peace you're going to find in that. Just like I was saying earlier, you might find the person living under the bridge at complete peace with themselves, right? That's a successful fucking life. If you navigate this goddamn earth and you find pure, genuine peace, you a successful person, in my opinion. Now, I don't give a fuck what kind of car you drive. You are a success. Because I know people who drive hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cars and ain't at peace about shit.
But I know this conversation came in regards to the Congress passing the bill of the $600 stimulus checks or whatever. You start to break down the numbers or whatever. And I wanted to look up some data, and I didn't necessarily find the data, but what I said is that after a while, you got to stop calling yourselves a victim and start acknowledging yourself as a volunteer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I just ran across this from Robert Reich's Twitter page, and it was like the pandemic relief by country, up to percentage of wages. Japan offered 100% of their wages. They covered 100% of their wages. The Netherlands covered 90% of their wages. Norway covered 90% of their wages. Germany covered 87% of their wages. France covered 84% of their wages. Italy covered 80% of their wages. The UK covered 80% of their wages. Canada covered 75% of their wages. America covered 0% of your wages. And then we just had the conversation yesterday about how many billionaires made XYZ billions during this pandemic.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think the difference, the thing about Bueller's statement is it binary. I think the context for me is different, right? I think that the idea of becoming that billion, that aspirational goal, which is surely wrapped in context, like billion ain't about security no more. Billion ain't about making sure I'm eating. Billion ain't about making sure I got the right transportation. Billion ain't even about making sure I got the right address. Billion is just about greed. That's it. That's all that's about, right? And we have that as an aspirational goal. And essentially because we have that as an aspirational goal, we get in kind of the context of the shit that Uncle Walter said. You cannot revolt against that in which you love. Mm-hmm. So even though you don't get it, you love it. Mm-hmm. So you sit your monkey ass there and suffer through death, depression, and destruction, assuming one day your goof ass gonna get it.
Right.
And it ain't set up for you to get it.
Black, brilliant, future billionaire.
Stupid.
Right.
Really is what the shit should stay on the back.
Right.
That ain't for you, fam.
Right.
And it shouldn't even be the goal.
Right. I've started saying, like when people say stuff like what you just said, I say it louder for the people in the front. Right. People always say like, say it louder for the people in the back. Say it louder for the people way up there in the fucking front that think they got this shit all the way figured out. Say it louder for them motherfuckers, because like that's where the confusion tends to happen at. Right. That's where the wild shit is actually going down. I think that we just kind of get our wires crossed. We kind of misplace our North Star, if you will, and we start to be driven and navigated by something that's not even valuable in the real term of the word valuable, right? Not like, oh, it's valued at X amount of dollars. Like nah. And for some reason, I always feel compelled to be like, I'm not saying that you don't need money, because I feel like I start to like hear people in my head like, oh, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to do that? I get that piece, right? But I'm just talking about your relationship with it, how you interact with money, where do you place it in value of importance? I don't know, it's a word that is escaping me right now. We gotta take a break anyway. When we come back from break, we'll jump deeper into this conversation. There's some other things that we want to show you as well on the other side. This is I Say What I Say. His name is Tou. My name is Herb. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information, or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
WIIFTBP, media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP, media's just for you and me.
from all the years I've been doubted, left out, and simply looked over like niggas ain't see the massive potential. I see murder weapons where all you see's a pad and a pencil. I do for self, I learned you worth more when you ask for nothing. Thoughts of killing shit, my brain's a weapon of mass destruction. Nuclear thoughts lead to atomic verses. Me and Max attack with a common purpose. I stole them niggas, you stole out your mama purses. You bitch niggas been disloyal since KB Toys. The streets gave me poise. No Melvins, just a bunch of Rodneys and baby boys. Listen, I'm not the one that you should try your luck with. Get abducted, fucked up, and then left in a rusted bucket, biatch. Sick train of thought, only y'all can conduct it. Just when they thought I was dusted and not a touch, I adjusted, and bounced back like I had Spalding on me. I am God, the clouds open, now the sun's rays is falling on me. To the heavens is calling on me, my shit gon' be elite. Your shit is mystery meat, you say it's beef, but it's all baloney. And fuck these niggas and all they homies, they all is phonies. I'm riding till the wheels fall off this bitch and it's stalling on me. It's alarming these rappers think that we all in the same ballpark. Fuck y'all thought the disrespect is appalling. Standing over the witch's cauldron, concocting murderous plots to help me further my spot. Guess you can say I'm stirring the pot. Heard a lot of niggas think they fucking with the overlord or going overboard. Potent dope that's spoke from vocal cords. The key to success is possessing a gift that can open doors. Therefore the flow is nasty like infected open source. You a knight in rusted armor, equipped with a broken sword. Throwing rocks at a fire-breathing dragon, provoking wars. These is more than rhyming words, my nigga. I'm no thesaurus, I'm too complete for you to compete. My shit deep as the ocean floors. But yet I'm barely scratching the surface. Trust me, it's more to come. So motherfucking hot, I ignore the sun. Imagine if Yvonne Thomas ignored the conscience and chose to abort a son. We never would've got to bear witness to this historic run. It's effortless when I spit these descriptive works of art. I hurt your heart with these harsh realities till it burst apart. It's feeling like I'm about to have a great year. I take the fear and hate here and turn it into Shakespeare, motherfucker. Fuck you mean, bitch.
And we are back. We are live from the ever-evolving What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said. Each and every weekday, 3 to 6 p.m., we get together right here on the network and discuss issues impacting the black community. More importantly, we try and talk through some solutions for how we can overcome many of the obstacles that we face. Beulah, I was reading one of your comments as we were on break, and it says, my brother always told me that if I do what I love, I'll never have to worry about money. I found that to be true. I think that is true. I think it's true for a couple of reasons. One, I think that when you are aligned with your purpose, right? When you are doing what you love, then the draw for money won't pull you out of that. You will never feel like, oh, I need more money, so I got to go do something else, right? I'm doing what I love on a daily basis. This is my purpose. It feels good to me. It feels fulfilling to me. It's what I love, and so money isn't attracting me to go do something else. So I think in one sense, that is what that school of thought comes from, right? You do what you love, you never worry about money because it ain't about the money, it's about me doing what I love. But I think that the universe is a provider. Like once you are properly aligned in your purpose and what you should be doing, the universe will provide for you in abundance, and you will also then not be worried about money. I'll be good, right? I think it's when we are less concerned with what our true purpose is and more concerned with what's my fastest route to the bag, then that leaves a lot of room for you to be, worried about stuff that you otherwise wouldn't be if you were properly aligned with your purpose. So I think one, I absolutely agree with that school of thought, but I think for a couple of different reasons that is true. Do you think that's true too? Doing what you love, you never really worry about money?
No, because context is important. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Context is important. We live here. You know what I mean? And there's no way to get around living here. You know what I mean? And in that capacity, right, I often talk from like two sides of the spectrum. We talk about reparations, and every time I've mentioned reparations, I've said in my mind, although I have a valuable understanding of reparations and why we need it, I only see it as a Band-Aid. A Band-Aid that allows us for a level of security to focus on the spiritual healing that we really need. And without that Band-Aid, your life is so goddamn delicate and vulnerable that you don't really have the opportunity to tap in spiritually. You don't have the time to slow down and tap into who the fuck you are and what the fuck is going on. It's interesting, man. I got moved to Cedar Rapids, Iowa when I was in high school. And
because you was a heathen.
Yeah, I got in trouble in Chicago and they moved me to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, right? But I always think back to that experience. Like, Tou didn't change, but the environment changed.
Mm-hmm.
And the environment was just slowed down. And it made me appreciate things in a different kind of way. It was shit I was doing in Chicago that I wasn't even thinking about. I wasn't even conscious of.
Mm-hmm.
I just was kind of moving with the flow of the current of the water.
Right.
You know? And in the current of the water, I was getting lost in the sauce.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the current slowed down in Cedar Rapids, it gave me an opportunity to tap into shit that allotted me greater opportunities for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I got a partial academic scholarship. That shit I would have been in the penitentiary in Chicago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Full academic scholarship.
But my mindset didn't really shift. It just the goddamn environment slowed down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think about that in context, like when we're in this world where shit is just always on go, you know, and that's kind of how capitalism forces you to be, specifically when you in the bottom caste. You working harder than anybody fucking else.
Right.
Like the motherfucker with the minimum wage job work harder than the motherfucker making $300,000-$400,000 every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day. Them is the hardest working motherfuckers alive. Cause they working for survival. You understand?
Real
and when
spill.
you in that capacity to leverage or to deal with shit beyond survival seems just out of reach.
Yeah, it's simple Maslow's hierarchy of needs, fam. Like my most basic needs as a human being have to be met first before I can get into this deeper understanding of anything else, right? But I do think there's still a way to be able to tap into that thing. Like I'm saying about the homeless person being at peace. Right, I can still tap into that level of peace without all of the trinkets and bells and whistles that we are so.
You might be at peace, but you ain't gonna be warm. You gotta fucking choose. You know what I mean? So to separate the two, I don't think you can. You know what I mean? How much fucking peace when it get 30 degrees in Chicago? I wouldn't be peaceful with that shit. But the idea is the idea, though. Right? And I want us to believe in the idea, the possibility of the idea. We in my mind, we are damn near a hopeless people. Like we talked about the fallacies is out there, who the Santa Clauses is and all that shit, and I said Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm a spiritual person, but that don't mean I don't see no value in Jesus. I saw somebody mention earlier, Faircon believes in Jesus in a different context. No, Faircon believes in Jesus in the Jesus context, and I respect that. Right? I think faith in anything is powerful. Right? But I think faith in yourself is more powerful than all that shit.
Yeah, Farrakhan got to believe in Jesus. He believes that he is a prophet as well, like he himself, right? So, like, yeah, I mean, I don't have to
what
believe
they
in
call
Jesus
that, the Mahadi, something like that.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But either way, though, it's just context. Even in the I see Sadiq talking about how capitalism form is based in that position of lack. But even in this being a Christian country, right? When we think about the context of Jesus, when we think about the context of Buddha, when we think about the context of Muhammad, when we think about the context of all that shit, all them people gave away their worldly possessions for a deeper spiritual connection.
Sure.
And if we are followers of those doctrines,
right,
then why do we hoard such shit? And why do we operate always from this mentality of lack?
Right.
But we do. So it ain't really Jesus that you believe in. It's Jesus' government. It's Jesus' Senate. It's Jesus $1 bill. That's who you really believe in. That's why it's in God we trust on your dollar, because that's really your God.
Separation of church and state everywhere else.
That's really that dollar's your God, man.
That's real.
It's your God, and you can lie or you won't. It's your God.
We pray to it. We worship it.
And when it's your God, you are a fucking powerless person because it's a fiat currency and it's not backed by shit. And the motherfuckers who pull the strings on that fiat currency know it's not backed by shit. I got a cousin that works at the goddamn, what they call that shit where they make the money.
But do they watch him burn all the money?
Man, his nigga's whole job is to ride up and down the elevator with stacks and stacks of money that he burns because they had a fucking ink blotch on them. You think if that shit had some value, they would be burning that much money?
Right.
It don't have no fucking value. Right. You part of a game, right? And we're succumbing to the part of the game where they recognize we don't have no value. The game is shifting in front of our fucking faces, right? You no longer have value. So $600, $1,200, or $1,000, whatever they gave you. I think somebody broke the numbers breakdown was like $5 a day for the last however many months. Who the fuck can live off of that?
Right.
You can't even get a 2 for $2 off of that. Not for a family.
No, that's real.
Like, you cannot survive off of that shit. The Federal Reserve, that's what I meant, yeah. But this motherfucker's whole job is legitimately ride up and down the elevator and burn $100 bills.
Yeah, man. I took our scholars to Federal Reserve in Chicago, and they got the chance to see it. And one of the things they got down there is they got this huge cube of money. I can't remember the value they placed on. Let's just say it was $1 million, but it's a huge cube of money in the middle of the floor, and the kids were just fascinated by, like, what y'all gonna do with this? Like, nothing, just kind of just sit there, right? It just sits there. Then you walk right outside, and there's a whole bunch of other people sitting on the ground, like, let me get some change. You know what I'm saying? Like, the shit, the way we value it can't be a real thing, right? It can't be a real thing to have all these people sitting. Or you even talk about like DC, right outside the White House, you see more homeless people than anywhere else. Like, right outside the White House. And it's like, come on, man. We can't figure out a way for people to not be homeless and starving right outside of the White House. Then what the fuck are we doing? We got this thing wrong, except for the fact that it's only for a few people at the top. That's what I was saying earlier about the social media and all that. Ain't nobody else benefiting from it, but they benefit a whole lot. The less you think, the more we can put you on automatic, the more we can predict and produce your outcomes and thought processes through your phone and all the information that we gather, the better it is for me. Now, I can continue to get billions and billions and billions, and you can continue to run on this hamster wheel for me. Like, that's what it is.
I'm about alignment, though, right?
Alignment to what?
Whatever the cause is, right? I'm more about alignment than I'm about being right.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And even if the dollar is your God, where's our commitment to it? That's what I want to know. Because it's obviously our God. Where's our commitment to it? Because if we had a real commitment to it, we would no longer be volunteers to this victimization. Right? The reason why I saw a documentary, I think it was, the chubby, heavyset white dude who does the documentaries from Michigan, Michael, I forget his fucking name. Somebody knows. Mike something. He does all the documentaries. Somebody will know his name in the comments, I'm sure. But he did some documentary and they was doing like Wall Street I can't think of the name of the movement. I can't remember the dude's name. I can't remember the Occupy Wall Street. That was the movement, right? And I remember him filming in Seattle. Michael Moore. Thanks, Robin Patrice. But he did this documentary on Occupy Wall Street. And they were filming in Seattle. And at the time, kind of like Seattle, you got to have some context of what Seattle was. And it was like in the midst of the boom of the digital space. The internet business was booming or whatever. And they also went to like England, you know what I mean? And there was a difference in the context of the conversation. Like the people in Seattle were shouting and throwing bricks and all that shit. And then they went to England and talked to the people, just the citizens. And the citizens in England said something that this was years ago, man. It's 15, 20 years ago when this shit happened. And they said, look here, man. The difference between me and y'all and us is the government here is afraid of the people. In America, the people are afraid of the government. And that shit just always resonated with me, and it's true. Right? We don't see, just like the police. The police work for us. We shouldn't be subjected to the police.
Right.
They work for us.
Right.
Right? The government, all of those positions are people who are paid by our tax dollars. You are our employees. But we operate in ignorance and in fear of those positions. Right? And essentially you get played by the motherfuckers who work for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's insanity, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's insanity. So even if it is capital that's your God, then let's fucking commit and understand the game.
Yeah.
That's like saying, ooh, I love Monopoly, but I really want to know the rules.
Right.
It can't work.
I just want to roll the dice
I just want to keep rolling the dice and move blindly.
Right.
You can't move like that.
Right. It's not going to work out for you.
You can't. If you're committed to the game, you got to commit to the game.
Right. Right.
That's just it.
Play or get played.
Play or get played, man.
Right. The game is out there.
The game is the game. Play or get played. And we're fucking continually getting played because we are either lazy, ignorant, or afraid to learn the rules of the game.
Some combination thereof, bro. Some of it is sincere ignorance where we just don't know. Some of it is lazy, like it's easier for me to just chill right here and find whatever little piece of comfort I can find. And some of it, a lot of it, is fear. Like, I'm scared to jump out there and do something about this thing. That's why I had to quote the fearless one, Omar from The Wire.
True,
Game
man.
is out there. And it's either play or get played. You know
And
what
the
I'm saying?
notorious AOC put a tweet up, and she says, this is why Congress needs more time to actually read this package. Before voting on it, members of the Congress have not read this bill. It's over 5,000 pages, arrived at 2 p.m. today, and we're told to expect to vote on it in 2 hours. 5,000 pages in 2 motherfucking hours.
Right.
This isn't governance. It's hostage taking.
We don't have no
And I
expectation
fucking
of y'all
agree.
reading this shit, but vote on it.
Yeah, I fucking agree. It's not governance. It is hostage taking, right? And then, and by the way, it's not just members you need to be to need to see this bill ahead of time. You do. The public needs to see these bills with enough time to contact their rep to let them know how they feel.
What our interest is, right?
Period.
This can't be about your interest, fam.
Period.
The people that's in this position to vote on your interest aren't even being allowed to vote for
These
it. You
motherfuckers
damn
is
sure ain't
pirates,
seen
and
it.
they've taken over the ship.
That's it.
And we keep letting the motherfucking barriers get pushed further and further back. And this, for black folks, like our whole existence on this soil is about that context. It's about that context. It's the motherfucking T'Challa conversation and the other boy, Michael, whatever his name was. Right? I'd rather die with my ancestors who was thrown over the boat.
Right.
You gotta fucking make a decision. You can't ride the fence. That's why Barack was a coward to me in the jump. Because he's a centrist. You got to make a decision,
Pick a
man.
side, fam.
You got to make a decision.
Pick a side.
Joe Biden is played the centrist role up the middle, too. Our dumbasses run around this motherfucker right now hooping and hollering about the possibility of a tuition reversal.
Right.
Motherfucker, 12% of us went to college, homie. At best.
Right.
Right? And when they pull that tuition enhancement or whatever they calling this shit,
Right.
it ain't just going to affect our community. And what happens is the goddamn wealth gaps get wider and wider, and the game gets more and more skewed. We're not really benefiting. We're not benefiting, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when them motherfuckers don't have that debt or that goddamn college tuition, and them house prices goes back up to $800,000, and you don't have the money to play, you still find yourself in the same place.
And what about the
Homeless.
other 88% of us who don't got college?
Yeah, fuck them.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's how we think. It's this selfish,
Yeah.
all about
because
me,
those of us who are
materialistic view.
empowered to have a voice in that conversation are the ones who went to college, right? And so, yeah, it sound good. Wipe out my debt, right? But fuck everybody else. But that's the American way. That is what the American dream is about. You can become whatever you want to be. You have the ability to go out there, and if you work hard and you catch some breaks here and you do this, do that, you can become whatever you want. But it has nothing to do with anybody else. There's no connectivity whatsoever in any way, shape, or form involved in this thing. It's just about you trying to amass as much as you can and fuck everybody else. And by and large, that's kind of how we live, right? And so we get these perspectives. Like we was talking about with Wadi yesterday. It was like, yo, if everybody just take care of them and them and theirs, won't we be good? Like, nah, that's not a real way to really get to it. We can't really get to that space like that. We don't really have that luxury. That's a luxury that white people have, to just be able to like, all I got to worry about is me, right? We don't have that luxury.
It's not a luxury they have either. They really don't.
I think they do.
They just got more time in it. See, and I mean that in this instance, and it's not just the construct of just whiteness. There's a white power elite too. And they don't give a fuck about nobody who ain't in that group.
Agreed.
And I'd argue that they don't give a fuck about the group. It's like winner takes all. You understand?
Agreed.
Like you got
That's my point. They have the luxury to do that. We don't.
But hear me out though. It's context is always important, right? You got Tesla and Jeff Bezos and all these people talking about building colonies on other fucking planets. That ain't for everybody, bruh. That's when we've raped this one of all of its resources and it's no longer livable. We saying, fuck y'all, we out.
Burn this bitch to the ground.
Burn this bitch to the ground.
And then leave.
When the water gets the global warming gets to happening and the waves is too high and Chicago's on the greatest goddamn earthquake fault in all of America, I don't give a fuck what happens because I'm going to planet Pluto. I'm out of this bitch.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody's in jeopardy because the collective is needed to maintain the balance.
Come here,
the
fuck
universe
shit up and leave.
works in balance. What's the shit? The as below as above as below. It's all this shit works in balance. And when the shit is out of balance, it falls down. And it's gonna always be out of balance when greed is at the forefront of our lives.
Right.
Even if you don't got shit.
Right.
If your mentality is predicated on greed, you still out of balance. It's just out of balance, and that shit is based in the space of lack.
Yeah, but you get taught that, right? You grow up in this space of lack, and it's like I'm trying to keep everything, right? And it don't matter if you had the new T-shirt that you bought. You like, hope don't nobody put on my T-shirt before I even get to wear it, right? You know what I'm saying?
But I don't think the lack is material. I think the lack is internal. I think because we lack so much love, we start to look for the shit outside of ourselves, right? And that just changes over time. When I'm 0 to motherfucking 15, Jordans is it. 15 to motherfucking 25, couple $100 is it. 25 to 35, it's my motherfucking car or my house. It just keeps changing, and it keeps changing based on the motherfucking place that you find, the class that you find yourself within society.
Right, where I'm supposed to
Right,
be.
when you start looking at the 5 men that built America, you talking about the Rockefellers, you talking about the Chasers. These motherfuckers had more money than the government. They legitimately had more. They built the fucking IRS because they bought the goddamn government.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But neither of them, out of these 5 motherfuckers with all this money, was ever satisfied. I got to be better than this motherfucker. I got to have more than this motherfucker. I want a bigger conglomerate than this motherfucker.
Right.
But internally, you got to be a shallow son of a bitch.
That's why the Forbes list exists, right? To see who's number 1 this year. A motherfucker that had way too much money last year. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't really matter, right? But you talk about Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or fucking
Jay-Z.
Bill Gates. They worry about or Jay-Z. Jay-Z, his entire career has been keenly, acutely aware of his place on the Forbes list. He's rapped about it in song after song after song after song. I kill shit till I catch Will Smith, then I'm running Spielberg down. Like just talking about him climbing up the Forbes list in terms of how much money he got.
But it's the mindset that bothers me, right? Because even with the motherfucking reasonable doubt mindset where he talks about regrets and he says, I shot my brother. Come on, what kind of motherfucker is you, bro? Because y'all was wearing your jewelry? Come on, motherfucker, what kind of motherfucker is you?
Yeah, no, that's
you're a shallow shell of a person.
That's a real thing, man.
Your jury had more intrinsic value than the life of your real blood brother.
Yes, we will cut off our closest relationships about materialistic stuff, right?
Some silly shit, G.
Like and then eventually you'll come to understand that okay, there's no level of material that could replace this relationship with this person, right?
None.
But we'll do it though. We'll do it.
And it's the Scrooge McDuck shit. We be in our motherfucking bank vault hugging our dollars. Lonely as shit.
Lonely as shit. Like you said, a big ass prison.
Big as a big prison. That's it,
you in a big ass prison.
You can feel the difference between a house and a home, G.
Oh yeah, you can feel it.
You can feel it.
As soon as you walk in, you can feel it.
You can feel it, G.
Like this feels like a museum.
You can feel it.
Like I don't.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
Ain't no love here.
Nah.
You can feel it.
Nah. Yeah, you can definitely feel it, and the people who live there can feel it.
Yeah.
Right. They feel it the most. It's like, oh, this nice ass house. I don't really like being here. It's something about like I just feel like I'm just in this motherfucker alone. No fucking love in here. No interaction in here. Nobody come to see me here. Nothing is happening here. Like
we created our own.
It's nice though.
It's nice though.
It's nice.
Then that for me that brings into question. Then what the fuck is nice? You understand?
Good point.
What the fuck is nice?
Good point. I want to be somewhere like it could be as big as it want, but I need the love in it, right? But I also like I don't want to be in a studio with 12 people that love the fuck out of each other. I would rather be in a studio with 12 people that love the fuck out of each other than a mansion with people who don't love each other, right? I would rather be there, but I would like to think there's a middle ground somewhere.
I get it, but it's all predicated in context,
right?
You know, it's all predicated in context, right? So, you know, me and you both know kids from the 9 who ain't never been downtown.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
We know kids from the Gold Coast who ain't never been to the 9.
For sure.
Context is very different. You know what I mean? The people on the 9 deem the people on the Gold Coast to be living some kind of spectacular existence, right? The people on the Gold Coast, them kids is out here tooting blows and doing crack.
Right.
Because they miserable fucking too.
Fuck you, Dad.
It's the same. It's never finding that common ground because the whole shit is out of whack.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's all predicated on the wrong version of value. It's just that simple. Right? It's just a different level of trauma. It's a different kind of trauma.
But that's why you peel off any of these, you know, most powerful white men in America, 7 out of 10 of them have a huge issue with something going on in their child's life. Child committed suicide. Child is an addict. Child is this. Child is every time you turn it on, such and such a son is this and that.
Can't run from the world, man.
You can't. You can't.
The law is the law, right?
It's
Man
gonna be what
law
it's
is
gonna be.
man law, but universal law is universal
And
law.
it
You can't
supersedes
get
that.
away from it, G.
Nah, it supersedes that. Eventually, it's gonna be something that your money and power and influence can't get you out of, right? And addiction is one of those things. Depression is one of those things, right? And so it's like, oh damn, how this person killed themselves? He lived this life. What's the Anthony Bourdain and shit? My folks was shocked.
Mm-hmm.
He lives the life that everybody wants. He's traveling around the world eating the finest foods and famous and rich and
miserable.
Miserable.
You know what
I'm saying?
Right.
Traveling around the world by my damn self.
And now we make excuses for the misery.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. So in my day, if you was a motherfucking cokehead, I assumed you was just trying to escape some shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you was a dope fiend, you was really an escape artist. You was escaping from the reality of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So just think about the little famous Dex picture we showed the other day. Right?
Tough.
And he's an extreme case.
That was still tough to watch.
Right? But we live in an era where young people
are self-medicating,
are ingratiating themselves in hard drugs
mm-hmm.
because they coming up out of misery, bro.
Yeah, it's critical.
It's misery.
But it's misery.
And it's learned misery from the predecessors because the motherfuckers that raised them didn't love them.
Yep. And it's misery that gets worse the more we aspire to shit that is, one, not valuable, but two, not really, it's not really there for you to grasp, right? It's not really attainable, right? We talk about 16-year-olds wanting Lambos, right? And so now if I'm 16 and I don't have a fucking Lambo, I'm depressed.
But they ingratiate themselves in those conversations because internally they are empty already.
Truth.
Right? So now, instead of fixing what's internal, I'm looking for a solution that's external.
Truth.
If I have the right pair of jeans on, if I have the right pair of shoes on, if I can pull up in the right kind of car, if I got the right kind of cloud associated with my name, if I could take the right kind of Instagram photo.
Right.
All that shit is external.
Truth. What I'm saying though is as those things become more and more inaccessible because the standard gets higher and higher, right? Like you talk about all the time, the colors was the car, now it's the Lambo, right? Or just like we say all the time about dang it, I just lost my thought. But the point is that like now the aspirations are so great to where like we talk about reparations, right? Reparations being able to provide a Band-Aid for us to then be able to do the work that needs to be done, right? So if I was already empty and looking for these outside sources to make me whole, if those outside sources were then more attainable, right? Then I could at least put that Band-Aid on until I'm able to do the work to where I can really love myself.
You can mask your lack of spiritual understanding,
right?
Spiritual connectivity,
right? With a $2,500 car,
you can mask it,
or a decent outfit or whatever. Now I can't unless I got a $250,000 car, right? I'm not even able to mask it until I'm able to do that work, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's just a little bit different and a little bit less attainable to even wear the mask.
But that's what I'm saying. It's about time we get naked.
Yeah, the mask is always bullshit. Always has been bullshit.
The bullshit is strangling
But now it's
us.
hard to even it's hard to even get the mask.
The bullshit
so
is suffocating us, man.
Yeah,
we got loveless families. We got
take
children in loveless households. You got motherfuckers dying out here to be accepted. You got again. Right, all you gotta do is one quick glance at Instagram and you see how motherfucking empty we are.
Take that mask off. You are beautiful without it.
That's it.
You are beautiful without it. We gotta take a break. I want to have that conversation about.
Video froze on his end. It looked like it froze on our end too. If it's froze on y'all, then let us know.
I see that it's froze. We'll figure it out on the break. We will come back. Just as I said what I said, Herb and Tou for another hour.
WIFTBPN.
Ho, ho, ho. I came to bring some Christmas spirit. I got a big bag now, guess what's in it? Something for the rich and something for the poor. So Merry Christmas and
ho, 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 Merry Christmas, my foot. I'm gonna tell you what Santa really put. Yeah, it's the Christmas rapper, it's your man Mace Jackson. To everybody, Chicago, what's in it for the Black People Media wishes you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Hey yo, Ren, turn that up.
You know, same old church. Jump in a whip just to take me a ride. Roll up just to ease my mind. Remember them nights, them that lost my life. Ain't been the same since bro them died. Jump in a whip just to take me a ride. Hold up just to ease my mind. Bad bitch and she on the passenger side. Hold up, come and catch this vibe. Jump in a whip just to take me a ride. Roll up just to ease my mind. Remember them nights, them that lost my life. Ain't been the same since bro them died. And the whip just to take me a ride. Hold up just to ease my mind. Bad bitch and she on the passenger side. Hold up, come and catch this vibe. It's what you play in your ride. Stuff a wood with a 3-5. Then you go live. Fuck how they feeling inside. I do this shit for my guys. Free all of mine. Talked to lil' bro the other day. He told me he doing fine. But watch how I slide. Cause niggas see you on the grind. And they'll poke you with the iron. I told him I know that. Niggas know that I blow that. Keep a cannon out of Kodak. You oughta know that. I'm getting high with a dope at. Keep a wood at my notepad. Pull up where the smoke at. I wish I could get my bros back. I leave my bitch with a broke back when she wanna throw that. But lately I've been in my feelings and I'm just wishing I can go back. Said I'm tryna ease my mind. Cause I got too much pride from all these things inside. Cause all my people died, yeah. Jumped in a whip just to take me a ride. Just me and my pipe. Then I rolled me a wood just to ease my mind. To keep from crying, yeah. Jump in a whip just to take me a ride. Roll up just to ease my mind. Remember them nights, them that lost my life. Ain't been the same since bro them died. Jump in a whip just to take me a ride. Hold up just to ease my mind. Bad bitch and she on the passenger side. Hold up, come and catch this vibe. Jump in a whip just to take me a ride. Roll up just to ease my mind. Remember them nights, them that lost my life. Ain't been the same since bro them died. Jump in a whip just to take me a ride. Hold up just to ease my mind. Bad bitch and she on the passenger side. Hold up, come and catch this vibe. Come and catch this vibe, yeah. Jump in the whip just to ease my mind. Ease my mind. Ease my mind.
No fun, no chill, look for it, you know, it's all good, you know, righteous. Come on, you said it right.
Stacking this money to the ceiling. Big trapper business, granny told me get it. These niggas all frauds, pillow talking bitches, been here from the start. No amount of pussy keep me from the money, took them L's before. Man, niggas already know what it is, man. Ill motion shit, you already know. Run it. Mattress was my bank account. Shorty blinking movies like he Paramount. Can't compare amounts. Always to the paper, even in the drought. Run it. Running like Emmett, I need a percentage. Turn wifey to widow and then she go missing. The baby's forgiven. We at your head like a scrimmage. Root canal like I'm a dentist. Run it. digital dash, my whip too fast. Jimmy Neutron, bitch, I got a blast. Ain't no discussions if it ain't about dollars. Grandma had choppers, this baby a scholar. I hustle too hard, I need every dollar. Don't want the clout, you can keep all the followers. How you get the sauce like that? Thought he fell off, but he bounced right back. Nigga show teeth, but afraid to attack. The Canic Larry Bird, 33 in the strap. Your boy blessed in, yeah, I bees in the trap. Never been the one to switch teams when you dap. Had to pay my dues, it's a mean in the day. Fear about the drop, hurt they fiending for crack. Run it. 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 Run it.
I ran up a bag today. How about a jag today? Popping outside today. We slipping, we slide today. I got a new glizzy, new K. I ran up a motherfucking K. I left to the motherfucking bank. Right with your motherfucking bae. I felt on that motherfucking cake. Counting up motherfucking cake. I ran up little 25K. It only took me 2 weeks. I told her nigga he weak. Moonwalk on the motherfucking beat. I jump out, I'm clapping the heat. These niggas, they whack obsolete. I stomping them out in the weeks. Grandma used to make me stay my house outside. You know I was raised in the streets. I'm like bada boop, bada bing. I'm like get them gone, forget about it. You know that shit not a thing. I know that my brothers gon' die for me like I'ma die for them. Up, let it sing. Yeah.
Run it. 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 Run it.
Hey, cuz, we never cared on my mama, folks. Run those spaz on this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, yo, Ren.
Yeah. Wake up early in the morning, think about money. Boy, I gotta get my shit. Walk in the motherfucking mall and you know about all. Hell yeah, gotta drip my shit. Talk my shit like a motherfucking boss. Hell yeah, young nigga, stay with that bitch. Smoking on Zai, you can smell it in the car when I open up the doors like you hit that shit. Brand new Glock with a beam on top and I just bought me an extendo clip. Pull up with the mop and we let off them shots. Give a fuck about no cops, no we ain't gon' slip. My niggas got job and some of them rob, but all my other niggas whipping that shit. If you wake up early in the morning, think about money, better go get that shit. Better go get that shit. Better go flip that shit. Yeah, yeah. My brother was in the kitchen. I seen him whipping them bricks. Yeah, yeah. I seen him cooking the pot. I seen him whip up them rocks. I seen him fuck up the block. He used to do that a lot. They stuck him up and I got shot. Damn, that's when my motherfucking life changed. I don't hang around no crowds or a dice game. 4-5 and they got a nice aim. It'll take a nigga for a ride like a night train. Whatever I want, I'ma cop it. Tap my phone, keep my cash in my pocket. Black card in the stash in my wallet. Money long and you bitches can't stop it. No, niggas don't like it. That hoes get excited when they see me out with my bae. We be at strip clubs and looking at booties and throwing them dollars, but no, she not gay. We got a baby that girl in her stomach and he be a boy. I'ma give him my name. I'ma teach him how to go get the guala. Like his father, he gon' run up them dollars. Ayy, wake up early in the morning, think about money. Boy, I gotta get my shit. Walk in the motherfucking mall and you know about all. Hell yeah, gotta drip my shit. Talk my shit like a motherfucking boss. Hell yeah, young nigga, stay with that bitch. Smoking on Zai, you can smell it in the car when I open up the doors like you hit that shit. Brand new Glock with a beam on top and I just bought me an extendo clip. Pull up with the mop and we let off them shots. Give a fuck about no cops, no we ain't gon' slip. My niggas got job and some of them rob, but all my other niggas whipping that shit. If you wake up early in the morning, think about money, better go get that shit. I gotta go get it, I gotta go flip it, I gotta go make me some money. Now I'm all in my bag, I'm making them mad and giving these bitch niggas nothing. Niggas think cause I'm a daddy now that I won't put their ass in a bucket. Got that Glock on my waist, I up it, bullets hot like a motherfucking oven. You know I turn up like hello, you know I ball like Carmelo. I got a bitch with a big old booty and you know that thing sound like some jello. When I'm sipping that dog, I feel mellow. I done it all like Shawty Ello. I don't fuck around with these rat niggas cause I'm somebody that they can tell on. Yeah, niggas don't like it, that hoes get excited when they see me out with the gang. They know that we got it, if they ever tried, then they gon' need help to come pick up they brains. Smoking exotic, you know this shit tropic, these other niggas just be making up names. So every day I gotta go get a bag, my daddy died, then I turned to a dad. Ayy, wake up early in the morning, think about money, boy I gotta get my shit. Walk in the motherfucking mall and you know about all. Hell yeah, I gotta drip my shit. Talk my shit like a motherfucking boss. Hell yeah, young nigga, stay with that bitch. Smoking on Zai, you can smell it in the car when I open up the doors like you hit that shit. Brand new Glock with a beam on top and I just bought me an extendo clip. Pull up with the mop and we let off them shots. Give a fuck about no cops, no we ain't gon' slip. My niggas got
job and some of them rob, but all my other
You bout that life? I'm about that life. You ain't really bout that life. If you really bout that life, JC, spit a key. Let me test your work. Ross, you the boss? Let me test your work. Jeezy, you talking breezy? Let me test your work. Cam, you the man? Let me test your work. Dre and Snoop, like that chronic, I need something stronger. Molly cute, that's like an aspirin for my daughter. Big time, in the club with a case of Ace. And now I sniff that whole table. Scarface, another court case. I'm a frequent offender. When Wyclef was hot, I was gone to November. 6 years, hard time. Bobby was fucking up, Whitney could have been mine. We would have been so high and so in love. When Amy Winehouse died, I could have saved her. I could have smoked like half of that. She wouldn't have had to go in cardiac arrest. Hands up under her dress. Lindsay Lohan her mess, but I still cope above her breasts. I must confess, I heard from a little birdie. Bring some crystal meth, you can get that from Fergie. Had a real nice dream, me and Charlie Sheen. Few Playboy bras, I was high in Rob Ford. Brick after brick, like Shaq at the free throw. I stayed hard, I put coke in my pee hole. You bout that life? I'm bout that life. You ain't really bout that life. If you really bout that life, 50, get with me. Let me test your work. T.I., I'm trying to get high. Let me test your work. Birdman, I hear you, man. Let me test your work. Brick Squad, I like it hard. Let me test your work. I want that shit that made Britney shave her head. I want that shit made DMX say he a fed. I want that shit that had Amanda Bonds tweaking. I want that shit Lance Armstrong compete with. I'm a winner by any means. You dig me? Praise Angelina Jolie, but when it condemn me, keep trying to play me like I'm a loser. Biggest sales first week, Robert Downey Jr.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
We back. God damn it.
What's happening, good people? As Tou said, we are back. Thank y'all so much for sticking around as we dealt with a little bit of technical difficulties. We froze up on y'all, and so we was getting that together. Shout out to Ron Rilla. Shout out to Mace Jackson for putting that together. We had to get it back together, get it back working, and then we had to test that work. So had to wait and make sure everything was all good, but we are back, and we appreciate y'all for sticking around. Y'all requested, Boosie requested that she wanted to hear Test Your Work, and Ron came through with that. So good for you today, Ron. You not...
Somebody else requested they want to hear that out west with it. So next break we gonna
that's coming up next.
Okay.
Good, Ron. Look at you being attentive to the needs of the family.
Look at Ron reading this shit.
Rare.
Go ahead, boy.
It's rare, but you know it happens.
Little Ron.
We appreciate you, good brother.
We appreciate everybody for rocking with us, man. We had a couple technical difficulties. It's getting close to the holidays. Everybody ain't paying them bills because they buying them presents.
PS5 on the left, man.
But it is what it is, man.
Nah, for real. We appreciate y'all for sticking around and still being here when we got it together. We got it together now, and we are back to rolling. I forgot where we was at, though.
Man, we be having conversations that kind of go into all kind of different shit, but it started around like the stimulus bill of $600.
That's not a lot of money.
It's no money. the $1,000 that they gave you beforehand wasn't no goddamn money. And Ron back to doing Ron. Just take one quick second.
Test that word.
As soon as
always a banana in the tailpipe with this.
As soon as we give him a little kudos, a little attaboy, he goes crazy.
Yeah, Ron is one of them young boys. You know, he be on them Adderalls and all that other drug shit.
That's crazy.
The elevators don't really go all the way up to the top.
Nah, they don't.
We got to stop whooping Ron's ass and start hugging him. That's
what he need. He need hugs. You know what? That's what we're going to start doing. Every time you act up, we just going to come in there and just hug the shit out you. You're going to be pissed.
That's going to make
he be mad. He prefer to get his ass whooped than us just coming there and like, it's okay, bro. It's okay. We know you can't help it. We know you can't help it. Just give him a hug.
We're going to start hugging this nigga, bro.
That's it. It's hugs for you from now on, buddy.
It's hugs for Ron from now on.
Every time you say some dumb shit, I'm just going to come in there and give you the most sincere hug of your life. Okay? I dig it. No, I dig it. Listen, man, thank y'all so much for sticking around. This is I Said What I Said. If you just tuned in, my name is Herb. His name is Tou. This is I Said What I Said every single weekday, 3 to 6 p.m. We are right here hanging out with y'all, having conversations about things that impact the black community. Hope you've had an opportunity to hang out with the entire What's in It for the Black People Media family today, starting at 6 a.m. with the Mace Jackson Show. Moving on to the little big sis. Is it little big? Yeah, she's a little big sister. Right. With the Book of Dawn, with Don Millhouse and Lisa E. Stick around. What's today? Tuesday? Right. So Tuesday they went right into the collective conversation, which I had the opportunity of hanging out with Brother Sadiq today on the green side of things. That was an absolute pleasure. And then on Wednesdays, you will have Salim Muwakil ascending into Salim Muwakil's world. And then the bigs on the soil, chopping it up with Terrence and Gino.
Cousin Gene.
Yeah, man. G is the trillest, man. He ain't be plugging everybody to the music piece. So
then we got the Saturday shows. We got some new shows. Well, Friday shows we got. Friday shows is new to the lineup too.
Esco said that, by the way, that's gonna be the next Ron promo. Yeah. All the hug and the hug. Yeah, we definitely got new shows on Friday nights. Chris Levy coming through with Chris the Critic. He is trying to get all you single women taken care of. Get you what you need.
That's right. Save you some more capitalism. Some more shallowness.
Hey, Chris be hitting them where it hurt, man.
Yeah.
Chris be coming
you
with...
broke, bitch.
Right?
You ugly, too.
He said, first of all, some of y'all think too highly of yourselves, okay? First of all, you think you fat. You're not really fat. That's first of all. Lower your standards. It's just like, yo, that's funny as hell. And then he's had Gina in here with him, Gina Lamar in here with him. She's got like this whole sex operator voice thing going on with her. Real sweet, real smart, and a good balance to Chris ass, because he crazy as shit. And then Go Ladies is on Friday nights as well. Saturday, Minding Our Own Black Business. Boss Lady Tennille Jackson. Then on Sunday, got the Power Hour.
Coming through with the kickback.
Reverend Keys.
Oh, I forgot the Power Hour.
Yeah, the Power Hour with Reverend Keys. And then we coming through with the kickoff kickback from 10 o'clock to 12 noon with me and the Big. So definitely, man, we got plenty of content for you and more on the way. More on the way. Cool. Cool. I don't know how to pick that from over here.
Wrong
so let's just switch over here and see how that treats us.
Yeah, everything's going haywire. Today's only Tuesday. Right?
Today is Tuesday. Hey, did you believe in the black superpower on the 21st thing? What was that about? Can somebody explain it to me? I'm not intelligent enough to really follow along.
I don't know either, but it's something to do with like astrology, I think it is.
Yeah, I know it's something about the stars aligning and Jupiter and your sun, star moons and your moon star suns.
Supposedly the stars are supposed to line for the melanin.
Go ahead, you can cross over.
The melanin in black people was supposed to be activated.
The melanin in black people was supposed to be activated to do what? Like, give us superpowers like being able to teleport, being able to like be invisible or something like that?
Open our third eye so we could, use 100% of our brain.
Boy, that's how desperate we are to change our circumstances. We thought that the stars were going to line, and then we was going.
I thought Tou was jumping out the window.
I tried it. It didn't work.
I saw a post that said Tou
But
was
hey,
jumping out the
on some real shit though, when you start thinking about brain power, right?
They
They say the average human being on the user is like
5%.
3%.
Mm-hmm.
They say 3%.
Okay.
If a motherfucker was using 75% of his brain, he legitimately could walk on water. Like legitimately.
75%, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, if you could use 10%.
Like walking on water would be easy. That's how Jesus was, right? Let's keep it a buck. Let's get deep in this motherfucker.
Jesus just tapped it.
All Jesus was the motherfucker who was focused. That's all he was. You understand? I was so focused, I could turn water to wine, motherfucker. That's how cold I am.
Jesus was just focused.
Jesus was Jordan in his day.
I'll have y'all know that Tucson just took some medication because he was dealing with the headache. So I don't know what he's talking about from now on.
That's true.
Nah,
Think about Jordan, right? You talk about getting in the zone. If you play any kind of sports, you've been in a zone.
Yeah, you get in
one
that
day,
zone. Yeah.
Right? And when you in that zone, goddammit, you can't do no wrong.
No,
I
you
can
can't
throw
miss.
the ball up sideways. That shit going in the bucket. It just is what it is.
The basket look like the ocean.
It is what it is.
Right.
Right. But it's the context is really, man, I just tapped into a different area of my brain where I'm that locked in.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between me, Michael Jordan, and everybody else is that Michael Jordan stayed there.
Locked in.
Kobe
man.
Bryant stayed there. Like when motherfuckers be like, I'm conscious, I'm woke, that's what that means. Well, consciousness is about tapping into your motherfucking consciousness.
Roy Williams says of Michael Jordan as a basketball player, he said he's the only player that I've ever met who could literally, you know, people talk about flipping that switch. I'll flip the switch on, it's cracking. He said Michael Jordan's the only player that he's ever been around who truly could flip that switch on and off. He said, and he never turned it off. Like, you know what I'm saying? He go the only dude who really can turn it on and off when he want. People act like they can. You really can't. Either you ready for this game or you ain't, right? He said Mike was the only person who really could turn it on and off, and he never turned it off. Like, it's always on.
Yeah. But it's just tapping into that part of your brain.
Yeah.
And that's all Jesus did. He just came, tapped into that part of the brain. So he could turn water to wine. If we use 75%, you don't need, if we using 3 now, I said we use 25% of our brain power.
If you can get to 10, dog, 10 is more than tripling it.
Yeah, you could legitimately walk on water.
Mm-hmm.
You would be God right now today. Motherfuckers would be enamored by everything you could do.
Bro, I think I'm like decently intelligent. You know what I'm saying? If I was using my brain 3 times more than anybody else on earth, so I can get to that 10%, dog, look.
It's real though.
I'm scared of what I would be on, to be honest with you.
I fully believe it though, man. I think there's this book called The Celestine Prophecy, and I read it
The Self-Esteem Prophecy?
Celestine Prophecy.
Oh, Celestine Prophecy.
And it was a long time ago when I read this book. But there's portions in the book I remember specifically, like you ever had this experience where you like thinking about somebody and they call your phone?
Yeah, 100%.
It's like you conjured them to call your phone.
Manifest.
It's like you manifested them to do it. And it's because your level of focus. You can send that motherfucker.
I done tapped into that.
You can send that motherfucking message through your brainwave.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I believe the shit to be true. G. It's just too many documented occurrences of how this shit really works.
No, listen, I believe in it. I believe that we can absolutely be able to tap into that thing on a different level. But I think that so much of the world, again, is about dumbing you down. It is so much about, listen, I want you to think the same way everybody else thinks. Don't you start thinking outside the box, fam.
Yeah, be a slave. Think externally instead of internally.
Right. Meanwhile, motherfuckers wrecking their brain trying to figure out how I can get money like Jeff Bezos, when Jeff Bezos has figured out how to make all y'all motherfuckers think the same thing and run me that dope, fam.
Also, and Jeff Bezos was just the beneficiary of a motherfucking lady who had $300,000 to make your idea come to life.
Yeah, I mean, he started that shit in the garage.
Yeah, with $300,000. I don't give a fuck what garage you in. If you got $300,000, yeah, you could choose your garage.
With my car in it, my garage, I got
you can choose your garage, motherfucker. Now, that story don't mean shit to me when you got $300,000 in the bank. Your garage was a choice, motherfucker. Beat it. I don't want to hear that shit. Period. You chose the garage, mother. That's where you was comfortable. I don't want to hear that shit.
I dig that. I dig that piece.
Yeah. So, you know.
So how you think we tap into it? R.O. Double said we should do a study. We should do a study.
No, but it's real though. It's like, you know, I don't know how, but I've been there. I've been there on the basketball court. I've been there.
So I've heard people talk about like psychedelic drugs and shit, like shrooms or like.
I've been there with a pen and a pencil. I've been there as an artist, as a visual artist. Like I do this shit. This shit next level.
And the only thing I can think of, like I've been able to like tap into myself and like manifest certain things that I want in my life to kind of happen, just like being true and honest and being like committed to it. Like, nah, this thing is gonna happen because it's what I want to happen, right? And so I've been able to manifest some things like that here lately. But other than that, I think for me the only reference point I can get to that is like you said, being in sports, where you've been in that zone before, and I've literally been like in that space before. It's like I know exactly what's about to happen on this field. Like even before we snap the ball, I know exactly what's gonna happen, and I know what I'm gonna do because of it, and we gone. It's like I can't fucking miss. Like throwing the ball all kind of stupid ways, it's going right to my mans, right? It's going right through people's hands, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the only place where I can like tangibly recall like being in that space where I'm like, I feel like I'm moving the pieces with my brain, like, you know what I'm saying?
There was a Stephen King movie where and I forget the name of the movie, but it was a portion where there was like these World War II fighter pilots who was like, the shooter, the gunner was at the bottom of the plane. Mm-hmm. And the plane that he was in, it got hit. And the landing gear didn't work. They got out of the battle and all that shit.
So it should be smoke.
Gear got hit. And he knew he was going to die upon landing. Like they was going to crush him when they landed. You know what I mean? So he was alive, but he was anticipating being crushed to death as they landed that plane because he couldn't get out. That didn't open up into the plane. It opened up to the ground.
Right.
But he was a cartoonist. And through the duration of the flight, the rest of the flight, he just kept drawing. He just kept drawing. He just kept drawing. He was drawing like cartoon plane wheels. Mm-hmm. Right? And as they landed, and of course this is a movie, but as they landed, the cartoon plane wheels showed up on the plane and he had a safe landing. Mm-hmm. Right? Now I only say that to say this. Like I've been a visual artist all my life.
You are.
Right? And people who know me, like through the duration of all of my educational history, mm-hmm. I don't take notes. I don't do none of that shit. Mm-hmm. I draw. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, young, too, used to get in trouble for that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you ain't paying attention. But in reality, when it comes to, like, me focusing my brain.
That's how I'm focused.
That's how I focus my brain. Mm-hmm. I really ain't paying attention to what the fuck is showing up on this paper. Mm-hmm. It's just a muscle memory.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention to whoever's talking or whatever the lecture is, and it's how I retain the information. And it's just a level of how I tap into that part of my consciousness that helps me retain information.
Yeah, but you know me, I be in awe of the stuff that you be doodling, right?
But it's like, I don't pay no attention.
And then you ball it up, throw it away, whatever. I'm like, no, that's cold. And you're not even really watching yourself do it. You just kind of doing it. And I'm like, no, that's raw, like super, super cold. And you be in the conversation. And when we first start like broadcasting the show, right? When we would, be sitting in a space, not like having a conversation outside or nothing. And you would be doing that. I'm like, what is he doing? Like at first I was like, is he taking notes? And I'm like, no, he's just over there like sketching and like cold ass shit. Though I'm like, is he listening to the conversation? They'd be like, no, I'm right here in the conversation too. And so yeah, I get that piece of doing those types of things to kind of focus. I'm like that at certain points. Like I'm listening to somebody and they think I'm not there. Like I'm so focused on you that you don't even realize that I'm focusing. Like I'm deep into what you're saying. I'm actually like another level deep into what you're saying. But yeah, we focus in different ways. We find different things to calm us down or to get us in that space, if you will. Right? It's like pregame music. Your whole team listening to something different. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I think as a creative though too, I think that in general gives you kind of a like, I don't really know no better way to say it other than the God complex. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because by your very nature you create, and that's the most valid thing about the concept of God and this creation. And in that, you try to see beyond the barriers of what is and create what could be. You know what I mean? And I think oftentimes that shapes my perspective on the world too.
That's real.
So I've always kind of had this conversation internally where it's like, why does that have to be the end game? Mm-hmm. Why can't we see beyond this? And I've said this before too, publicly. I think when we start thinking about the I Have a Dream speech by King, I think, if you know the truth of the story, like that wasn't part of that speech. That kind of came off the cuff.
Some impromptu.
Right. And oftentimes we kind of devalue the shit because it was off the cuff. But if you like in tune with the universe, maybe ain't nothing off the cuff. You know what I mean? And I think the context of him shaping that conversation in the context of a dream is that dreams are limitless. And you can move beyond anything that you see as plausible. Like you can create whatever vision you want to see. Yeah. And that's kind of the space and place I'm in right now is like I recognize that we are in the fourth industrial revolution. I recognize that fourth industrial revolution has no place for the downtrodden of the current American society. Mm-hmm. I also recognize, and I'd say this, I agree with Salim too, that the future is feminine. So there's even less room for men in that new society, right? But it's like, do we accept that or do we vision something anew?
Yeah.
And I think that's a very necessary conversation.
Yeah.
A wealthy citizen of America won't have to have that conversation in the same capacity, but you see the writings on the wall, and it's like if there's no need for you and there's no value to you, what happens? And that's a deeper conversation than just say you kind of like left out of the context, because how you get left out of the context is so very important.
Yeah, that matters.
You know what I mean? And it plays out already, but what's it look like when it's reached its halt? I watched what's that shit? Look at Salim.
Spontaneous improvisation is the syntax of God.
He's talking about God like it's a goddamn jazz record. Go ahead, Salim. He's so
Salim, man. Like, Salim, dude.
But I was watching Power last night, the reboot thing.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't be keeping up with this shit, so I don't
I watched
know
the first episode. I watched 2 of them last night.
What episode, whatever it is. But there's a storyline happening here where one of these guys is going to the league, or at least he's trying to go to the league.
Right.
And he had a big game. His cousin's a homosexual. His cousin came to hang out with him. His cousin came to hang out with him because there's another guy on his team who's a closeted homosexual who don't nobody know. All this shit. But here's just how they shape and how narratives get shaped. They leave in the club. Some boys roll up on them to rob them. The gay cousin becomes the superhero, knocks the gun out the dude's hand.
He's the street nigga.
Beats the shit out of the other dude. The basketball player gets scared. After this, the incident is over. The incident is over. And the basketball player is damn near brought to tears because his cousin is such a violent character.
Right.
After this dude was finna shoot him.
Right.
And he runs away to go throw himself in the arms of some woman.
Right.
And I'm looking at this shit and I'm like, we fucked up, G. It's over. It's over, G. We're the last days. It's definitely the last days around this motherfucker.
The games are saving the athletes.
We in trouble. We in trouble.
Hey, too, your ass is hilarious. I watched the same show. I did not think that while I was watching it. Like,
we in trouble.
God,
but after I said it, does it make sense? I'm just saying. Ask yourself. I just ask myself why.
I follow your logic. It's definitely a twoism. Right? It's definitely a twoism for sure, man. You are hilarious, dog. Listen, we got to take a break. When we come back from break, we'll begin to put a bow on the conversation for today. Thank y'all again for sticking with us through the technical difficulties. We love and appreciate y'all. We'll be right back.
WIFTVPM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
We out west with it, where we live illegal, leaning off a leader, riding regal, tipping scales like Libras. Inhale, no L's, pulling out blocks like Jenga. In the rear of a Caprice's Billy Rims, flicking decent nonetheless. Nothing less than 10s for the speakers. You'll hear us before you see us with beats that beat the streets up. Yeah. So try and keep up and keep it low key, cuz police try and treat us and keep us on a leash, cuz that's how they see us, thinking we nuts. Cuz we'll die for the ground beneath us, because this land made us. This land made of players that stay on paper. That's how we came up amongst the mayhem to the day when we display what we made of. The game can never change us, the West Side teaches. On these streets where you find that D before G. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just got a bit of plot. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Smell the grind in the air, take a whiff. Only the nose knows the aroma. Compose the money rolls that fold up, holding cold cups. Searching for those that got the purple O's for the $4. And we could go nuts and stay at the stone like gross us, and post up with O's on the table like coasters. That's how the game coached us, made us all in the soldiers. Now that dough is the focus, so know that we we own this. Molded by the hood role models, riding good, the latest model, drinking good, raising bottles like we just missed a pothole. You got to know that it's impossible to stop our flow. We've seen it all from watching cops reload 30s a dro while drinking the night away until the block got slow. You'll know as soon as you see us, we the ones laid back in the cut. My demeanor seems to always give me up. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it. You just got up in a block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it. I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it. Yes, sir, hustle for every penny in the trenches. But we turn struggle into strength. Yeah, home of the survivor, survival of the fittest in the town. It's wicked, you can J down. In a minute, what am? What's the business? The biz is how you down to get it. From Cape Town to Fifth City, the sounds of Fifth's empty. When we tipsy is risky. Where the lick be, at least 10 deep, it tempts me. But there's no mystery where the chips be, the tips G. Just our history from the 60s. Pimpin' ain't easy, but we bleed it. This here game is in our veins, in the air we breathe in. Believe this, it's no game. But the key is your mouthpiece, spit your game. But believe, turn nothing into something. We suffer without supper long enough. Struggling from summer to summer, the same place where the dope is sold. It's home to the Oprah show. The same place I know is home. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it. You just got up in a block. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it. I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it.
What's good, family? We out west with it. Appreciate you coming through, Ron, being attentive.
That niggerant music.
Oh, that niggerant music.
I'm a niggerant.
Come again and say what?
Come again and say what? Somebody asked in the comments, why do we play such niggerant music?
Right after we're trying to solve the issues of the black community.
Yeah.
That is a net negative.
Part of us, even the inception of the word niggerant, is a response to, white identity problems that we have in the first place. Music is music. Niggerant is classified or qualified through the objection of black culture. So I don't even deem it as niggerant. At least I don't accept it as niggerant. I accept it as music.
Yeah, I'm. Where's Majani? There are two locations. There's one in the wonderful neighborhood of South Shore. It's located right at the corner of 72nd and Exchange.
That's the closest one.
Yeah, the other one is on 111th.
Yeah.
Let me know if I can do anything else for you. If I can play Siri for you anymore, man.
Shout out to Cherie Chapman. She said we playing that Jungle Bunny booty music.
Hey, Cherie is she is hilarious.
Hey man, we embrace all aspects of this niggerant culture.
Jungle Bunny booty music.
All of this niggerant Jungle Bunny shit is all right up our alley.
All this niggerant shit. What you say we had a motherfucker so the motherfuckers?
Add a motherfucker so the ignorant niggas hit me.
Right.
You know what I mean? You add a motherfucker so the ignorant niggas hit me.
It is what it is. This is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. We play music that we like, and we are having a conversation.
Man, we step out those bounds of respectability, man. I don't give a shit about the quantifiers or qualifiers of what's acceptable via white people standards. So yeah, fuck y'all, and fuck y'all if y'all buy into them. You know what I mean? And bless your heart.
He said what he said.
Yeah, and bless your heart after that.
You know what I mean? Right. Bless your heart.
We're not against rap. We're not against those rappers.
We are against those thugs.
Yeah, that's classic.
Yes, Raymond, that's
right
good
there.
stuff.
That's
it's really, really good.
Material right there.
It's really, really good.
But I don't know what the hell we was talking about before we went into this rant.
I forgot too, but this is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's. I don't know. I forgot where we were. I really, really did. But Christmas, man. Let's. I don't do Christmas. Mm-hmm. Like not like under the. I got to go out and buy gifts and all that shit. Like I stopped doing that 5 years ago in 2015 after the march on 10-10-15. It came back with the Justice or Else movement. It was like boycott Christmas, and I was like, yeah, this shit never made no fucking sense. Like this shit never made sense. And since then, I just don't really rock with it. Now I do observe Kwanzaa, and so I give like Kwanzaa gifts and little stuff like that, little trinkets, small gifts that like thoughtful.
We can surely get into Christmas, but I want to get your take on this before we go to Christmas. I just laid out that construct of how power played out. That's what we was talking about. What did you think of the power? What do you think of that whole? How does that resonate in your mind? Does it have any value? You think anybody caught anything from that? You think anybody saw that outside of me?
ROW said that Elliot did.
Who was Elliot?
Robin's husband, the Loch Ness monster.
No.
So, yeah, I guess I mean when you say it, I understand how it fits the narrative that we be talking about all the time about how they emasculating black men, right, and empowering gay black men to do whatever, right? But at the same time, now we always say that like, okay, usually the gay dude, they got the black gay dude in there on some super gay shit. You know what I'm saying? This black gay dude was the gangster. And that's really what his character is in the show. He was like a former like super street dude, drug dude, and he kind of let that go, but he still got that in him. And that's how they crossed paths with those dudes. He knew those dudes. Those weren't random dudes that came to rob him. He knew those dudes, and they was actually there because of that. And so he took over. He beat the shit out dude. But it does 100% fit the narrative that we always talking about. So I feel you on that piece, and it's absolutely hilarious. Now that I'm thinking back on the scene, how the 6'9" basketball dude was acting. Right now, granted, dude
pure
had a
bitch. He's pure G
pure
bitch.
Pure certified hoe. Certified
I'm talking about
hoe,
not
fam.
with the gun or you after the incident.
The whole time he was certified hoe.
You beat him.
He was certified hoe the entire
This
time.
motherfucker finna shoot you and you mad at the motherfucker who beat him?
Right.
Beat him some more.
Beat him some more. Beat him to death, fam. Like, nah, he was certified. Dude had the pistol to his knee, and yeah, that's your future and all that. You a hooper, but dude, you sitting on this ground like dude ain't even shot you. And then after it was clear that you weren't even gonna be shot, you was still shaken to your core and shook that dude just saved your career and your life by beating the brakes off dude ass. He got over him and he was giving him work, okay? All rights, straight work. Beat this boy till he couldn't beat him no more.
Yeah, man. Raymond says Mo 3 Killer was called the homo shooter.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, I don't either. But that's next level though.
I don't
You
know
know what I mean?
nothing about
It's interesting to me, man. We start thinking about how these
The homos,
narratives
like, how do you get a moniker like that?
get
Like,
shaped.
like, how
That's
do you
by
get a-
being a homo and a shooter.
So that's what they would call like Omar?
Omar would have been the number one homo shooter. And now my man here in this new Power book, he would be homo shooter the third.
What he say in the word? Oh, so he got a lot of heart for a cocksucker, huh?
He got a lot of heart for a cocksucker, huh? That was Herb Howard that said that. That was not Tucson word because I know people would attribute that to my jacket.
That's what
I just mimicked them.
That's what they said. That's what they said in the wire, man.
Absolutely, man. I just think it's interesting, G. Again, whether it be whatever side of the spectrum, it all devalues heterosexual black maleness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
And I just think it's interesting. It's like no channel you can turn to where this shit isn't the narrative being taught.
No, that is clearly there's an agenda, right? When you see, like, I got a saying. I don't really believe in this saying for real, but it is funny. I say once you hear it twice, then see this thing so much behind it, right? It ain't just it just is what it is. Like, no, that's not actually what it is. Y'all push it like that, right? For a reason. Y'all have to have an agenda behind this thing.
Yeah, and again, to the Celine's point though, right, about the future being female, I think that's what it is. There's no real need for this kind of rugged,
Time
masculine.
to put on the Vaseline. What is going on? Why are we having this particular conversation?
There's no real need for this kind of rugged, masculine energy anymore. You know what I mean? And it's just interesting how they ushering this shit in through and on the backs of black people. You know, I also think it's interesting how that this COVID vaccine is being ushered in on the backs of black people as well. You know, they're leveraging the black female scientist who was a part of a COVID team, a scientist team that came up with the research for the vaccine, but they're putting her in the forefront as if she's the sole creator of this COVID vaccine. And I think that's part of the narrative, just to like usher it in on the backs of black people. You know, I think they leverage our imagery for all kind of different shit. And it's just very interesting how much power we have in regards to our ability to grasp the attention of the world and people buy into whatever the fuck it is we doing, you know. and the powers that be now leverage our ability to grab attention. You know what I mean? But it's always interesting when I look at how many things that we're the poster child for. We're the poster child for toxic masculinity. We're the poster child for homosexuality. Like, it's like, how do you have those two competing ideas and we be the poster child for both of those energies?
Yeah, we can't be like we
the worst motherfuckers in the world and the softest motherfuckers.
We always threatening and we gangsters, we savages, and we.
I guess to the Mo 3 point though, you can be a homo shooter. So I guess you can be both of those things.
You can be both.
It's just interesting how, you know, we're such a small population,
right?
But they leverage our imagery to push through any new idea they want them to push through on.
Yeah.
And it's like we buy into that shit because those pushes become our opportunities to get capital.
Want to sell shoes? Get you a black athlete.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Like want to push the narrative? Do it through black men, right? But starve them out of everything else. If it ain't advancing our particular agenda in this given moment, starve them out. But when we need them, use them like until ain't nothing else left to be used, right? And we see that play out in the college athletics landscape, which is why we was having that conversation about, you know, the importance of some of these kids making these decisions to go play at HBCUs instead of playing at these traditionally predominantly white institutions. That matters. That matters. That's important because they getting billions and billions and billions of dollars off the backs of these young black athletes, and they ain't giving them nothing in return. Even the piece of paper they leave with if they stay there for 4 years ain't doing them much good after that because they still trying to come work for your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you ain't value them when they was making you billions of dollars. You definitely don't value them now. So it continues to be important for us to understand exactly who we are, be real honest about the place that we hold in this country, what that construct has done, what it continues to do, and while, you know, to like Beulah's point, like while we are still, you know, amassing whatever financial stability that we need, but not losing sight of what our true North Star should be, right? And go get you some money so you can have some financial freedom and some stability in that area, but don't let it control you to where you lose sight of what's really important and what we really need to be about. And if we can do both of those things simultaneously, then I think, okay, it's cool. I think it's really, really hard though. I think you got to be really, really intentional and understanding, like, okay, here's what's happening here, but I still need some bread and I still got to do something to be able to get to it. So I think that's absolutely a part of that conversation. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll take our last break. When we come back, we will wrap up the show for today. This is I Said What I Said, Herb and Tou for another 10 minutes. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
Yes, sir, I like how that sound right there, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of inspirational. It's like everybody got a goal. They're trying to reach or alive. They're trying to live, man. Be bumps in the road. You gotta keep pushing forward, you know what I'm saying? If it don't kill you, it make you strong. You know what I'm saying? My story right here. Yeah, it
takes a special kind of mind to grind and work from the bottom and climb up the ladder of success in time. It doesn't matter what the test is, every step is another level till I step in as the next in line, no question. I'm considered one of the best, my whole life invested in, holding mics and sketching rhymes, you guessed it. I'm on mine, still restless, yes, even pressed up my records on my own dime. As many battles I blew breath in, and open mics I blessed. I'll never be labeled an overnight success, passing out CDs, doing shows for free, then dabbing Bo to eat so that my soul could speak over these soulful beats that's so cold to me. Like the breeze in the shower, we be posted deep. All the prices that I paid, the sacrifices I made, it'll all come to life one day, someday. Man, bumps and road ain't nothing. Rotate, doesn't stop nothing. Check it out, look. I remember it like yesterday, trying to get my record played at a radio station where they play hits for days. Having a conversation with this lady I'm facing while she making a statement made for me. She said, look, it's too many words in your hook. You need to work on your look. For what it's worth, I never took her words personal. But at first I wasn't certain though if she knew my words are personal and not just verses and books. Until the curtain closes, this is my version of what I know. Learning in first person till I blow, and still I know how it feels to know I'm the deal. Did you still feel like a deal is just right, or a deal just might still add to my appeal? But they won't know I'm real till I touch my first million, right? I'ma chill till my bars is felt and play my hand with the cards I'm dealt, and that's the plan till it solves itself. Yo, it's damn near impossible to shop music without lots of loot to maneuver and make moves with. So I stay in tune with my pursuit. Fuck trying to recoup, I'm trying to juke and move units. The truth is, I'm used to excuses. Dudes give like you can. Do what I do, food and prove it. Walk in my shoes then. I'm used to goofy producers and cools that try to misuse you quick. Why you got it confused? If you think it's about groupie chicks and interviews in a mix, it ain't got ghoulie, but I truly got the tools to overcome obstacles, including this music biz. I'ma shine like jewels, unlike these Rubik's Cube dudes with all this woo-woo-woo when they spit. Mick Luda is the future, so get used to this. It's day one, not a crew or clique. It's a new beginning.
You know, same old church, you know. I'm F&B. Shout out New Money Casino, man. You know they're my people. That's my team. Double S forever. Hey, oh, I see you over there. Turn up, hello. If I said it's up, then it's up there. And when they go up, no, it's stuck there. Said it's been there way since back in the days. We was jumping on the bus, no bus fare. Had to make a way to eat, no lunch fare. You ain't gotta check my waist, no, they gun there.
5 minutes before the bottom of the hour. This is I Said What I Said, Herb and Tou, here with you every single weekday, 3 to 6 p.m. We appreciate y'all rocking with us on this here Taco Tuesday. I had y'all some tacos and some tequila.
Hey, we really ain't have no break plan right there, right? What Herb really did was he gonna tell y'all the inside scoop.
So I'm glad you finna tell it. I wasn't gonna tell it, but since you are, that's great.
So I ain't feeling good. I ain't been feeling good all day. And the sister Mary went in and got me some Sudafed.
Shout out to Mary, we appreciate it.
And just a minute ago, Herb was talking, and I was nodding like a motherfucking heroin addict. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about because I was half asleep.
He in there testing work. I said something to you.
I'm definitely testing some work right now.
I said something. I looked over to you, and you was like, I said, you know what? We gonna go. That motherfucking medicine grabbed your ass like, nigga, shut up. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and shut up.
I need some coke in the pee hole. You know what I'm saying? I'm fucked up right now. You know what I mean?
Hey, I hope you feel better, man. But that's what Maze was like when Mary brought you the medicine, and Maze was like, look, you don't be taking no medicine. You're gonna be all right, like to like not only finish the show, but to drive your ass home.
Damn, our show was in mid conversation, start nodding.
I'm gonna have to trail you to the crib, man.
Hey. Definitely tested some work.
I looked over there, I said, damn. I saw like the white part of your eyes. It was like, I said, this nigga. We'll be back, y'all. I wasn't gonna tell them.
You don't know where he is right now.
I wasn't gonna tell them, but I'm glad you did. That's hilarious.
What you talking about? Huh?
That motherfucking medicine got on your ass. Like, boy, shut up. Close your ass.
God
Damn.
damn.
Like Van Grams grabbed Jody. Nigga.
That shit, that was some, they gave me some lean or something. I was this motherfucker like, what's happening? Jesus
oh my God,
Christ.
that's funny as hell. Hey, listen, y'all, when the show is over, go back and rewatch it. Go to like, what did we take that break at, like 5:50? I had no intention of taking a break at 5:50. Go back to the 2 hour and 50 minute point of the video and just watch Tou just fade out on me.
Robin said work tested and clearly improved.
Hey, we gonna sell out that pack tonight, Jack.
Hey, that's the loud pack.
All you need is one thing to go back. Like, man, that shit had me on beam. Like, you selling out tonight,
man.
You are selling out tonight.
That was not a good look.
I tried to
I
tell
don't know
y'all
what the hell just happened.
What did I tell y'all earlier? Pfizer sell dope all across the country.
All
on
across
every
the
fucking
country.
corner you can get they dope.
All
Somebody
across
said
the
that's
country.
cool. Somebody said Redford Edmond dope wasn't cool. That's it. That's it. It's the same dope.
I ain't
man.
never nodded off a gummy that fast. I'll tell you that.
Okay. They can put stuff in there to make you nod for 10 minutes. You just took that damn medicine.
Oh, God damn. That monkey was on my back. I was about to do the Matrix move. You know
Oh, my God.
the move the heroin addicts be doing out west.
Yeah,
They be out in the middle of the street.
It's out west. Dauphine Lane, G. Impeccable balance.
Impeccable balance.
They all the way over here won't fall. They literally out here defying physics off this heroin, man.
Definitely got superpowers, G. Definitely
Oh
got
my!
superpowers.
They got their superpowers, right? They stars been aligned. Soon as they beamed up Scotty, they stars were aligned.
G, I was out west one day. I seen one of them with the Dauphine Lane. G, this man had his head damn to touch the ground. bent
Yes.
back. And I'm talking about he bent backwards.
Yes,
It was
G.
me and my daughter. She was like, how does he do that?
Dauphine Lane.
I was
Jack.
like, he's a magician.
I don't know.
He's
He
a
is a
magician.
magician. That is defying every rule of physics that there is, fam. Nothing like the Dauphine Lane, G. Everything but fall. Everything but fall. It's like, man, yeah, it's the Mike Jack lane for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that is
But
different,
yeah,
man.
that shit got a hold of me real quick, man. So Herb, being the great point guard that he is, realized he could not throw the oop.
We need a
timeout.
My teammate is asleep. Oh, that's great. Listen, we gotta go. We gotta get Tucson home. Get him in the bed. Pew pew. That's right, bitch. like, we gotta get this man in the bed. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Y'all make sure y'all get up early with the Mace Jackson Show starring Ruthie Moore at 6 a.m. Y'all stick around and hang out with the Book of Dawn tomorrow Wednesday, right?
So we trying to do what?
Send it to
Before we
Milwaukee
get
Hills
up out of here,
World
though,
and then hit the soil with the bigs.
before we get up out of here, though, we was also just discussing a minute ago whether or not we was gonna come in here on Thursday, and we're not clear yet, but we want to know if you all be interested in us having a Thursday show because they was talking about closing the studios between Thursday and Friday. But I think if we do come in on the Thursday, I want to do something with a guest or something. So I think we should be able to secure a guest by Thursday.
Let me see you pop the.
Let's have fun, man. It's Christmas
I want to
Eve,
rock.
man.
I want to rock. I want to rock. I want to rock.
What can we do this
I think
fun
Maze
conversation?
said he was gonna order some food. He want us to come.
I said fun. I didn't say deal with Maze.
Lil Ron always worry about what Maze
I
said.
know.
Ain't
That's
nobody-
Maze's
Ain't nobody
favorite
asked.
daughter
Food is
over
fun.
there. That's Maze's favorite daughter.
Food is fun. That's all I was saying.
Ronisha.
Jesus Christ, man.
Don't make me expose you too.
Hey, I still. Hey
now.
Hey.
Hey now.
I still ain't put that story out from why we were so mad at you 3 weeks ago. I still ain't put that out.
He don't understand.
You forgot? Okay, cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna let
We
you play
ain't
like you
forget.
forgot.
I got pictures.
I'm gonna let you play like you forgot. We're gonna leave it alone. We
But,
gotta get up out of here, man. We will be back. Oh yeah, y'all let us know. Y'all let us know at least by tomorrow. Let us know if y'all want us to be here on Thursday. If y'all do, we'll come hang out on Thursday. If y'all like, nah, I'm getting into my Christmas Eve thing, that's cool too. But like we say all the time, we only come here and chop it up because of y'all. It ain't for me and Tou to come talk to each other. So y'all let us know if y'all want us to pop in on Thursday. If y'all do, we will. If y'all don't, we get it and we won't. Either way, we will be back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. same time, same place. Until then, y'all be good to each other. For Ron and Tou, my name is Herb. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.
WIFTBPM.